Free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. Good morning. After it was, I just kind of took it for granted yesterday, but it was quite hot. And you realize that at like 7 o'clock at night when it was still 87 degrees. It was a warm one. In studio this morning is our guest host, is the one and only mayor of Newport, New York, the one and only Mark Butler.
Well, good morning, Bill. Let's make some radio magic.
Well, that's going to happen here. First day of July. Of course, this is one of those weeks where some people take the whole week off. This is their week. Others will maybe start on Thursday and take all of next week off. I'm here to tell you we will not be here Thursday and Friday, but we will be all the rest of the week and next week. So there you go. And we're with you today.
That's right.
We have a lot to get to, a lot of stuff happening. Of course, so the Senate, the U.S. Senate had quite a late night in their Bill-O-Rama. We'll speak with, will we get him on? Maybe we might. Maybe not. Andrew, Davey will have to let me know. Tanya Power is coming up in a few minutes. The new athletic world, some college players start getting paid by schools to play. And Tanya will have the latest on this. Your thoughts on that?
My thoughts?
That these kids now going on. It used to be, so what are you receiving? Well, of course you're receiving a free education. You're getting a free ride.
Exactly.
Now they get paid.
My feeling is the bigger, more well-financed colleges will get the better players. You're going to see a whole different change in college football. There'll be a half a dozen schools that'll be dominating. It's insane.
It is insane, and you're right. The schools that have the dough are going to be able to get in. Ray Stajic with an update this morning on the weather, and right now it looks like the 4th of July weekend may be the first. Oh, you got him delivering coffee and everything to you. That's really good.
Well, Davey and I are buddies.
It looks like the 4th of July weekend may be the first weekend where we have sun on both Saturday and Sunday, and it'll be the first weekend since November. I mean, think about that for a second. How long it has been since we've had a not just a rain-free weekend, but a precipitation-free weekend. According to the National Weather Service, our area in upstate New York has had at least precipitation, whether it be snow or rain, at least one day of every weekend for the last 31 weekends. That's crazy. And now, for the first time, we have looked at this past weekend, and it looks like this weekend is going to be really good. But this past weekend, for the most part, was pretty clear and precipitation free. We may get it all over again coming up this weekend, where temperatures seem to be nice, and so does the weather.
Being from a rural area, what farmers have been going through with all the rain and changes in the weather, it's been a difficult year for them. And
there are a lot of people that are reporting the whether it's that whatever black shows up on like tomato plants or on your flowers or on corn or whatever, a diseased plant, and there's just been so much rain. It's been difficult to grow the way that farmers are used to doing it. So you finally get a couple of quick, nice, sunny days, and the other part that they didn't have for the longest time was the heat. So that was a problem. This morning, Steve Nuno. Steve Nuno, you might know, is a bodybuilder, weightlifter, has a fitness center, but he's launching something brand new, and we're going to help him launch it here this morning in studio. Also, John Zogby on later on this morning. New polling on Iran and President Trump. Paul Buckley is in. Utica's movie czar. There's a big celebration coming up at Harbor Point in Utica, which now has activity. Have you driven over there?
Yes, I have. It's incredible what's been happening over there.
It's quite a transformation. Yeah.
It is.
Assemblyman Robert Smullen is on this morning about the session that has just wrapped up there in Albany, which was a lot of fun, right? You've seen it. You're a former assemblyman.
Yeah, flashbacks here.
But you always had the assembly has been for a long time dominated by downstate Democrats.
Yes.
Who've been in the majority. But you had the Senate, the New York State Senate, that was at least the voice of reason. It was the yin to the yang. And now that no longer exists because the downstate Democrats have control of the New York State Senate.
I think it was Ray Meyer who described it. He said you go to a session of the Senate, these gentlemen and ladies are quietly debating the issues. You go over to the assembly, it's like a elementary school lunchtime. People just running around, jumping all over. It's crazy.
And it was like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then just some of the stuff that would come out of the assembly that the Senate would always kind of put a stop to. And you'd say, can you imagine if there was no Senate Republican majority? Can you imagine the stuff would end up getting passed?
Well, look what happened.
And now they really don't have that. Luckily, you do see Democrats and Republicans upstate working together because it is a different lifestyle. So that is somewhat of a governor on the throttle, but for the most part, it's just freewheeling.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Let's see, what else did I want to hit on? I thought this, this kind of does happen, but it seems to be happening more often. And I'm talking about shark attacks. Every year, right around Shark Week, and I think it might be this time of year, you start to get these stories where we've had more shark attacks. What's going on? And then you really realize that that there's been 6 of them. And last year there were 7. And the year before that there were 4. And the year before that there were 10. And it really isn't anything different. What is different, though, it seems, is the shark attacks that happen in the Northeast. And there was a woman bitten by a shark at a New York beach. A 20-year-old woman likely bitten by a juvenile shark while she was waist deep in surf at the New York beach, at a New York City beach. Jones Beach State Park on Long Island. She was treated for injuries that were not life-threatening. Probably an immature baby shark.
Mm-hmm.
The woman did not see what bit her, and the subsequent drone search for dangerous marine life was not successful, but they're saying they're pretty sure it was a shark. Jeez. So with the waters being warmer, we're seeing more storms, but with that comes this marine life that makes its way a little further to the north than we normally would expect, I guess, is what I would say. And then there were a couple of very difficult stories. Yesterday, one near you over in Newport, where there were reports of a man that was held up in a home, and state police surrounded the house. And at one point, they didn't realize whether or not he was in the house or if he was on the loose, and police were searching. And then this was actually in the town of Russia where it occurred. Then a fire broke out in the afternoon. WKTV reporting as firefighters worked to extinguish the flames Monday morning. Human remains were found. In Poland, New York State Police investigating a mid-morning structure fire there, and then they found a person inside. That story came. Then the other story that I thought was just crazy is the man who set the camper on fire. Yorkville man was arrested for setting his grandparents' camper on fire. The United County Sheriff's Office said yesterday that Robert Bartle set fire to a camper at the Higginsville Road site in Vienna. The fire damaged the camper and 2 others. No others were hurt, but Bartle is charged with arson and reckless endangerment. He was or is 28 years old. So maybe like the shark attacks to the north, things just seem to be getting crazier and crazier. Davey, we are just a few days away from the big battle, the Battle Royale, the Mets and the Yankees going at it at Citi Field. The Mets will start, though, tonight with Milwaukee. Who do the Yankees play this week?
The Yankees started off with a 4-game series in Toronto against the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, they ended up losing on the last night 5-4. So this is not good for both New York teams. They both New York teams that got off to such a really good start. The Yankees just are struggling scoring runs right now. Yeah, and a couple injuries too. Francisco Cruz is on the DL. Trent Grisham got hurt. Austin Wells has got maybe a circulation problem in his hand. They think maybe hoping it's not anything that's going to be prolonged. But
isn't
But the Mets are facing a very, very hot Milwaukee Brewers team
with a very, very not hot pitching staff right now. The starters are not going long, and the bullpen is in trouble. So we'll see what happens this week. It'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Mets and Yankees will be playing at Citi Field.
And the Yankees are
Subway Series.
And the Yankees are playing early today at 3:05 because it's some national holiday in Canada today.
I do not know how in the world this would happen or could happen, but a little girl on a Disney cruise ship, I don't know if you saw this story yesterday, on a Disney cruise ship fell overboard on Sunday and survived. It must have been a lower part of the ship because if those ships tend to be stories high.
Huge.
So you imagine falling, and if you've ever gone into even a pool and jumped from a rather large height, or even a regular diving board and done a belly whacker or whatever it's called, it can be bone breaking.
Yeah.
When you hit that water.
Yep.
And somehow, not only the little girl, but the father, the dad jumped in to save the daughter. It could have been tragic, but her dad immediately jumped in after her. He apparently had to tread water for 20 minutes. Could you do it?
No way. No way.
He treaded water with holding onto the little girl.
Wow.
Before a lifeboat finally showed up. It was 20 minutes. And witnesses talking about what happened. Here's audio.
He couldn't get to the life preservers because he was holding on to his daughter. The ship was moving so quickly. It's crazy how quickly the people became tiny dots in the sea, and then you lost sight of them.
It looks like it was the mother because they were escorting her across the deck. They blocked off the deck, and I just saw her crying, and I just felt for her at that moment, and I just started praying.
That was a very heroic thing that he did.
Everyone was cheering on the ship, and the quick response of Disney made a big difference.
Yeah.
That is a hero right there.
That's unbelievable.
Yep.
And again, just being able to jump into the water and survive the jump without being knocked out or knocked unconscious and or broken bones, it's just incredible. And a lot of times these things do happen, and by the time people realize the person has fallen overboard, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, of course, I don't know how it happens. The kid climbs up on the edge of the boat. How in the world does it hapen? I don't know.
Does it say in the story how old the little girl was?
I don't have that here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's little.
Little.
She's a little girl. That's all I have. And then this is just nuts. There's a band called Velvet Sundown. Velvet Sundown. And do you want to hear a little piece of their music here? Let me just play a little bit of the Velvet Sundown. By the way, they are huge on Spotify right now. This is going to be a problem. I'm going to tell you. Listen to this here.
Flicker lights on silver sand. Marching ghosts with no command.
This is a band, as I said, called the Velvet Sundown. They now have 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. That is the first part of their song called Let It Burn. And I am here to tell you it is 100% AI. It is an artificial intelligence band. Those were not musicians playing that. It is all computer generated.
Well, the bass guy hit a few bad notes.
But
other than that, the bass machine.
I can't believe that that is artificial intelligence. So it just tells you, where are we going? What are we? You're going to have this stuff. It's going to be happening. You're going to be listening to it. You're like, yeah, I like them. Well, they're not real. I don't really care. I really like the song. It's amazing. Yep. Tanya J. Power is standing by on the line right now from Fox News Radio. The world is turning upside down, Tanya. I don't know what's going on.
That was AI?
That was AI.
Wow.
And they have 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
That is, you played it. I was like, man, I like this. And then you said it was AI, and I was like recoiled.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. They have other songs called Echoes Through the Pines, Floating on Echoes, Dust on the Wind, The Wind Still Knows Our Name. All these songs that they have created, Dust on the Wind. I guess that's a Kansas takeoff. Nonetheless, they're getting huge hits, huge numbers, and it's not even real. Oh, it's scary.
Wow.
I find this, I never thought would come to fruition, but it has. College athletes are now starting to get paid by colleges. What do we know about this?
This is a headline I didn't think any of us would ever see either. College athletes are getting paid. It is the result of a huge lawsuit. It was approved last month by a federal judge. It was a multi-billion-dollar settlement that allows the NCAA Division I schools to directly pay college athletes for the first time. This has not happened before. It stems from this lawsuit from 2020. An Arizona State swimmer, Grant House, became the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit that challenged the NCAA's rules surrounding the use of their name, their image, their likeness. Think about all the different, ads and branding that you've seen from colleges throughout the years where they talk about, hey, come see our basketball team. And they feature a player, well, up to now that those players have not been, compensated. That was not a thing that they did. They didn't pay the player for that. Well, the swimmer took them to court, and the antitrust case eventually wound its way through, all the courts. Like I said, there was a settlement announced last year. The judge approved of it in June. So that means there's millions of dollars in damages to the back pay of these athletes as far back as 2016. It also calls for revenue sharing directly with the athletes for the first time. So it's pretty big. It goes into effect today, which is why we're talking about this today.
Yeah. And I wonder what, Mark and I were just talking about this a second ago, that it is what you're going to see most likely, I would assume, is the wealthier schools are going to be able to pay for the better athletes, and the schools that don't have the cash flow might not be able to perform as well.
Yeah, there's also a way that this is kind of divvied up, so to speak. There is how it divided up. It does lie with the schools, like you said. It is expected to follow kind of a formula that's similar to the back damages payout part. 75% directed toward football, 15% to men's basketball players, 5% going to women's basketball players, and 5% to the remaining players. So the lion's share of this will obviously be, directed at football programs.
Yeah, wow.
Well, how about this? A few years down the road, a center for Syracuse finds out that a center for another school makes more than him. I'm sitting out until I get my pay, and then there we go.
Yeah, we'll
So
be doing
that's a great point. That is, I think it's just a matter of time till you see something like that.
Literally strikes in college sports. So, okay, interesting stuff. By the way, the band is the Velvet Sundown. If you want to check them out, Tanya.
Is it terrible that I kind of do? And I feel
I
bad
know.
I'm going to have to grapple with this myself. I was not expecting this dilemma this morning, I'll tell you.
I will tell you, they're listed as an all-male foursome, and there's a picture of them. I mean, they're kind of having fun with it, too. There's a picture of them walking across Abbey Road. They've released, and here's another thing, too. They released an album 15 days ago, and then 15 days later, released a second album. So these guys are really producing.
Wow.
It's crazy. So, all right.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Yeah, it's nuts. Tanya J. Powers, as always, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Tanya in New York.
I played in a little garage band when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah, reverse peristalsis. You must have heard of this.
Yes, they were great.
Yes.
They were AI, too, weren't they?
Should have been.
I believe that's anti-intelligence, I believe, back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, quick break, and coming up, we'll talk to Ray Stachik of the Weather Channel. May get some storms today, is what they're saying. There's a moderate chance that they could be. We're a little storm crazy right now.
Yes.
But we'll speak with meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel. Coming up at WIBX at 6:37.
Thunderstorm chances increasing today. It's a marginal risk, which is on the lower end of severe weather, but still got to make that mention of shower storms here as we head on through this morning that could potentially be severe. They'll be isolated, though, so I'm not really all that excited about severe weather chances. By late morning, we may be done. Cloudy, and then clouds this afternoon near 85. Tonight, cloudy, 65. Wednesday, clouds give way to sunshine. Beautiful day, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, we are with plenty of clouds out there. It's cloudy skies, 72 WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
You don't need to drive all around. Come to Seneca and Valley for the best prices in town. Save on every bottle, every case, every day. Their 40-mile price match backs you all the way.
Start your summer off right at Seneca Wine and Liquor and Valley Wine and Liquor. Stock up on your favorite wines and champagnes with our fantastic 20% off wine case sale. Mix and match your favorites to create your perfect wine case selection. Whether you're hosting a barbecue, relaxing poolside, Enjoying a day at the lake or planning a cozy evening at home, we've got you covered. Hurry, 20% off wine cases is available now through July 30th. Only at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford or Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer. Voted #1 8 years in a row.
We're one big family, two great stores, ready to save you more.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands.
855 Roof Max.
We'll help you put off the high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years. Or 10.
Or sometimes even 15.
855 Roof Max.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
855 Roof Max.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one. But don't wait. If your roof loses too much protective coating, it's too late.
So call 855 Roof Max.
Why do people shop at Mattress Express? Our guaranteed lowest price program. Bring in any locally advertised price on a mattress we carry, will beat the price. If within 90 days of purchase you see it advertised for less locally, bring it to our attention. We will refund the difference.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Mark Butler is our guest host in this morning. Let's go to Ray Stajic with the Weather Channel, standing by right now. Ray, good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Bill. What's going on?
Well, every time I hear you say possible storms, I duck immediately. we're a little we're a little
weary.
Punchy.
Yeah.
But probably not anything. All that. Actually, the forecast right now going forward, once we get through today, looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one little piece on Thursday that we might have to deal with too. But that chance of thunderstorms doesn't even look all that great. If I could jump right to the 4th, I mean, not bad.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple of things to work through before we get there, so we'll leave that as a tease for now. We'll talk about that in a couple of seconds.
Well, so today, and I think in your forecast, you're saying by mid-morning, late morning, we may be done with the storms.
Yeah, I mean, the front's still hanging toward the west. I've been looking at some of the shorter range guidance coming in, and with the front actually coming through later, I learned at SUNY Albany, FROPA 0.01 means with a frontal passage, especially this time of year, you could expect maybe a shower storm. So I think I'm going to push that into the afternoon hours, especially further south into the southern tier. You get into Shenango and Madison County, southern Madison County, Montgomery County, maybe a little better chance. But already seeing a few showers this morning. Going to keep the rain chance now even into the afternoon with the actual front. There may be a delay in between, but there may be some stronger storms later today.
You know, I go ahead, Mark.
Well, Ray, I got to tell you, after the last storm we had, I went out and I got my generator fixed up, so I'm ready for whatever comes.
It is. That is it's been an issue for a lot of people, and then it got hot.
Yeah.
No air conditioning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the good news, too, when you hear some of the numbers coming behind the front, I think there'll be a big smile on everybody's face. Again, this afternoon, severe does not look widespread. You go south, and as I'd mentioned, you get down into the Catskills, maybe a little better chance. So shower storms. Seen a few this morning, but I got a lightning tracker on. I'm not seeing any lightning around. So good news, I'm not concerned about that this morning. Heading up near Boonville, you get into parts of Lewis County, even into Herkimer County. Oneida County, too, we are seeing a few showers come through and kind of going right down the thruway from Sylvan Beach and in through downtown Rome and Utica. Heading eastbound, you're going to run away from them. Heading westbound, you're going to run right into it. So a little wet weather this morning. I think we'll get out of that, get a break, and then see some storms return maybe this afternoon.
All right. And then finally, I was reading on a Facebook page somebody ripping into a local meteorologist because they had gotten it wrong.
Never happens.
Oh, that never happens. They had apparently gotten it wrong, and this guy was like really, really bothered by it, like way over the top. The reality is, I think we've gotten really good at predicting the weather, especially as we get close to it, right? I mean, maybe you can talk to us a little bit about this. The science that we have and the tools that we have are we didn't have this stuff, and while telling somebody on Wednesday that it's going to be sunny on Friday may still not be overly accurate. We've made some major improvements, it seems, in predicting the weather.
Yeah, I mean, if you got into and you were looking at it every day, what I've learned over 29 years of doing this is that it really has become, knowing where you are, knowing what the details, and knowing what the capability of the science is. I mean, you get into a day like today, right, and you say, chance of showers, some could be severe this afternoon. Most people won't get a severe storm, and everybody's going to be like, well, you said severe, we didn't get it. The science isn't that good. Even when you see these short-range models that you may, see on TV or on the interwebs, and they show, like, this afternoon, these big red things, and it's right over your house. The model's not that good that in some cases, and in most cases, it's going to be right exactly where the model has those storms. It just gives you a general idea. So I think if you go into it knowing what the science is capable of and what the guidance is capable of, you probably feel a lot better. But you mentioned Friday. How about this for Independence Day? Waking up in the morning, clear sky, no humidity, and temperatures in the 50s. And into the Adirondacks, we might even see some low 50s and a beautiful Friday afternoon. Looks like we'll only be near 80 degrees. It's almost perfect for a 4th of July, and even into the beginning of the weekend, the holiday weekend. Sun and a little warmer on Saturday. We may see some showers, thunderstorms. Return with 90-degree temperatures by Sunday.
Wow.
Well, Ray, you guys use these percentages. I think anything between 20% and 80%, you're saying, well, it might rain, it might not. I mean, it's just not fair.
Let me confess, I am not a fan of percentages. I am not a fan because most people don't know what it means. It could be a 90% chance of rain, and there will be a bunch of people that don't get rain, and you'd say your forecast was wrong again.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Right. It's all about what are the capabilities of the science and the models, and also interpretation, and that goes for the listeners and for the viewers, too. You have to know what these terms mean, too, so you kind of educate everybody. The meteorologist gets educated, too, by the public, but also in the same way, you've got to know vice versa.
Quickly, I have somebody asking if AI is involved in predicting weather today, how much it is involved.
I'd say it's starting to get a little bit more involved, but, in terms of, whether we're doing, everything, you got to rely on something spitting out. I mean, it kind of does it now when you have a forecast model that spits out a preliminary forecast. We've been doing that for years. It's just a matter of will there be some more technology that will help even more enhance the science? I'd be foolish to say no, but I just don't know what that's going to be.
All right, interesting stuff as always, Ray. We appreciate it. Have a great day, and thanks for the good forecast. I like it.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks so much. Ray Stajic with the Weather Channel. Quick break, and we're with Mark Butler, and I got a bunch of interesting stuff. I have more on this AI band that is like hitting huge numbers on Spotify, and it's not even real, completely computer generated, but the song's pretty good. And what does that mean for the music industry down the road going forward? You kind of wonder just
maybe they can recreate the Beatles. How about John Lennon and a very special rocker?
That may be in the future. May be coming. We'll get to it coming up at WIBX.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy.
In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Comment tu t'appelles?
Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life, celebrating over 16 million subscriptions sold. Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands.
855 RoofMax.
We'll help you put off the high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years. Or 10.
Or sometimes even 15.
855 RoofMax.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
855 RoofMax.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one. But don't wait. If your roof loses too much protective coating, it's too late.
So call 855 RoofMax.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
I was riding down the road and behind of me, Mark Butler was ahead of me going 33. Hurry up, man! Well, Mark Butler's in studio here this morning.
Well, I much prefer AI, Bill, I got to say.
I think you probably should. You probably should. Speaking of AI, let's see if I can play a little of this. This is the band The Velvet Sundown. I just let you listen to a little more of this because it's now you're listening and you know it's artificial intelligence. So check it out.
Lights on silver sand, marching ghosts with no command, velvet boots on mirrored ground, drums of thunder, distant sound.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice. Got a nice little sound to it.
Yeah, I don't know about the music, but the lyrics are pure Bob Dylan.
Yeah, they are. You know,
what the heck does that mean?
You know when you can't understand it, it's like, okay. And you know what? If an artist is good enough, they will convince you. The artist will convince you that the reason you don't understand it is because you're not smart enough.
I know.
When in reality, they're probably just pulling words from nowhere.
Hey, this rhymes.
Yeah.
With gadget?
Brilliant. What does it mean? I don't know, which is why I'm telling you it's got to be brilliant. Just brilliant. Davey has some news here today, and I just want to warn everybody, it's news that doesn't involve an award. You didn't win any additional awards, am I correct?
Davey won an award?
Oh, he did. He did. He hasn't told you about it?
No.
Yeah, I got to get you a correct microphone. Is that the one you're on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Gotcha.
I won the 2025 Les Devon Media Award from the Boilermaker.
Oh, that is
Last
great.
week.
Congratulations.
Did you know Les Devon? Did you work with him?
Yeah, I was at the OD when he was there. Yeah. Good guy.
For those who don't know, Mark, not only a former assemblyman, a former newspaper guy, now someday you'll be a former radio guy.
Did you mean I'm fired?
Well, we may all be, and also a mayor.
Well, and don't forget, I did public relations for Utica National Insurance for
former PR guy
for a decade.
A former PR guy.
Ugh.
So anyway, he won these awards, and it's very nice. But you won something else yesterday, and you're really, really excited about it.
Yeah, so I get a text from another coworker that used to work here, and him and I are still good friends, and he said, did you win tickets?
Bobby Slamadome. If you remember him, he used to be on the air a lot.
Jim Rondinelli.
Oh, it's Jim Rondinelli. Oh, I'm sorry.
So he said, did you win tickets to the Buffalo Bills training camp? And I said, no, I didn't. He said, well, I did. So I got home yesterday after getting out of here.
So there's a lottery in
order
to
you have
be
to
able
sign
go
up.
And this is out at RIT, right?
No, St. John Fisher.
St. John Fisher. Okay, Rochester.
Yeah. So you go on it started like 2 weeks ago. You had to go on a lottery system.
You got to sign up, and hopefully you'll win.
You pick 3 different days that you went. You can go. So I picked the first day, the second day, or the third day.
Okay.
So I'm getting online doing some stuff.
And bingo.
I get an email. You won 2 tickets to the Buffalo Bills training camp.
And which
we both won the first day.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it would be nice if you could have won different days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will be
that
going.
Means you get to go. You get to watch autographs. Do they do autographs and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes.
And then so that will be coming up. What date?
The 23rd of July.
Okay.
Wednesday.
All right.
Which works perfect.
Yeah, because we're both off that day. Yeah.
We're both on vacation, which both of them work perfectly. That's why I did it.
Yes. Brilliant, Davey. Brilliant.
Well, Davey, if anything comes up, I'm available for those tickets.
Okay. All right. And your grandson is there's a camp.
Yes.
Explain that and talk about a bit of a
that's awesome
with the running back Cook and the camp is in Albany next week.
He's a good one though. I mean, you're talking about one of the best in the NFL.
Yes, and we're very nervous about what's going on with him.
Yeah.
I have to say, Buffalo is a small market, and you get these big stars. They don't want to play. I mean, they may get the salary, but a lot of these guys make a lot of extra money doing endorsements and commercials and
still have
cheap radio shows.
You still have your Jim Kelly who fell in love with Buffalo. Josh Allen has fallen in love with Buffalo. So
Bruce Smith, he loved it.
It depends on what your personality is, but I'm afraid Cook may not be the. I want to be in a more in a smaller industrial city.
He wants top tier money. He wants to be labeled as one of the top running backs in the NFL.
And I think
the Bills got to do it.
That's what drives him. I think it's about money. So,
but it's a little disappointing. You groom this guy, bring him along, train him, and then he gets there and said, "Well, I'm out of here because I need more money."
But the story is your grandson is going to a camp that he's holding in Albany.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a I mean, he's not getting the money from Buffalo, so he's getting it from kids like your grandson.
That's right. And he's very excited about it because he's kind of a slender young man. And he says, man, I'm built just like Cook. He said, now I don't know whether it's the NBA or the NFL. I got to think it over. He's 12 years old.
Yeah, all right.
And he is very athletic. But we get a text, well, they've compacted the hours.
So you've signed him up for it.
Signed it up.
It was going to be 9 until
3.
And then you get an email.
Yeah, it's like 11 to 1:30.
Only 11 to 1:30.
Well, or 9 to 1 or 10 to 1:30.
But you know what? Don't worry because it all includes you get your picture with him and an autograph.
Whoa! If you want a picture, it's another $150.
Yeah.
And how could you send him down there with Cook without getting a picture?
Yeah,
so please call in and make a donation to the
the Butler Foundation.
Butler Foundation. Yes, I just newly formed.
I like it. By the way, on the Velvet Sundown, I want to go back to this. The project has already 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. The song you just heard a second ago is called "Let It Burn." They released 2 albums in 15 days, and they are having a little fun with it. Song titles include "Echoes Through the Pines," "Floating on Echoes," "Dust on the Wind," "The Wind Still Knows Our Name," "Dust and Silence," "Rebel Shout," "Where the Rebels Meet," "Mirrors in the Smoke," and "Smoke and Silence." So they're kind of having a little fun with it, but and if we can do that right now, where we are today with artificial intelligence, what will they be able to do? I mean, are we going to literally have synthetic music, if you will, right?
Yeah. I think
so. As opposed to what you are, it's gonna be. This is an organic band. This is organic.
Yeah.
These are real people. Not like that synthetic band, the Velvet Underground or the Velvet.
How about when you go to concerts? What do you just watch a computer?
I guess
on the stage?
Right. You wouldn't be able to go to see them in concert.
Yeah.
Mike,
but I think somebody's smoking when they make up these song titles.
I think they are. Mike this morning says, since he has two extra tickets for the first day of the Bills, perhaps you can give one to Stefan and could give him a ride. A little advice for Davey here this morning.
That would be a fun ride.
Next hour, Steve is kicking off a brand new business. We're excited about it. Steve Nuno. And we'll speak with John Zogby. Some new polling out on the president and Iran. It's coming up next hour.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
All day and all of the night. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News debate and votes on amendments to the Republicans' so-called One Big Beautiful Tax and Spending Bill continue as a vote-a-rama that started yesterday morning rolls on. One amendment removes a block on state and local governments from enforcing their own artificial intelligence regulations for 10 years.
They voted twice against a plan to bar illegal immigrants from receiving Medicaid. That was a provision that was stricken from the bill by the Senate parliamentarian, the referee in these matters here. And also, the Senate has voted 99-1 to take out a provision imposing an AI moratorium by the states and local governments for the next decade. That was taken out. That's something that was not in the original House bill, and that's something that will satisfy the House of Representatives.
Fox's Chad Pergam at the Capitol. President Trump suggests taking a look at federal subsidies to Elon Musk's companies after Musk calls the One Big Beautiful Bill utterly insane. Brian Koberger agrees to plead guilty to the 2022 murders of 4 University of Idaho students at their off-campus home in a deal to spare him the death penalty. The family of at least one victim, Kelly Goncalves, wants him dead.
In a letter to the victims' families, the prosecutor explained, quote, "We cannot fathom the toll that this case has taken on your family. This resolution is our sincere attempt to seek justice for your family." But the family of Kelly Goncalves is angry, posting on their family Facebook page that they told prosecutors they did not want this plea deal. In a statement saying, quote, "Brian Koberger facing a life in prison means he would still get to speak, form relationships, and engage with the world. Meanwhile, our loved ones have been silenced forever." I also spoke to Kaylee's father last night, who told me, quote, "This isn't what we fought for."
Fox's Chanley Painter. 2 firefighters shot and killed in an ambush attack near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, are identified as 43-year-old Frank Harwood and 52-year-old John Morrison. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At least 74 Palestinians are reported to have been killed in Gaza in Israeli airstrikes at a cafe and other buildings in Gaza City and gunfire at aid sites. The Israeli military says it's reviewing the incidents. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he expects to meet with President Trump in D.C. next week.
Reports indicate the pair are set to discuss a path forward to try and end the war in Gaza and bring the remaining hostages home, along with exploring broader normalization and peace deals across the region. Now, yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order lifting sanctions on Syria, a clear sign that the Americans are looking to have stronger ties with the government of Ahmed al-Shara. The region remains on edge following the 12-day war between Israel and Iran. And Iran's foreign minister indicated a new deal may not take place because Iranians are looking for assurances from the U.S. that they won't strike their nuclear program again before leadership in Tehran would return to the negotiating table.
Israel. July 1st, when some new laws kick in around the country.
In Florida, there's a new ban on government officials lying about military service and a requirement for state agencies and schools to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Georgia has new tougher punishments for fentanyl trafficking and a ban on cell phones for grades K through 8. In Indiana, transgender women are banned from playing on women's college sports teams, and student IDs will no longer be accepted as identification to vote. Minimum wage is going up in Oregon and Alaska, and Iowa is dropping the age to own and carry handguns from 21 to 18. In Mississippi, college athletes can get paid directly by schools, and in Virginia, drawing a swastika or other Nazi symbol on private property is now a Class 6 felony. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
2 bills are passed and signed into law in California meant to speed up housing development by exempting some projects from strict environmental review, speeding up legal reviews, and making rezoning easier. I'm Chris Foster. This is Fox News.
Thunderstorm chances increasing today. It's a marginal risk, which is on the lower end of severe weather, but still got to make that mention of shower storms here as we head on through this morning that could potentially be severe. They'll be isolated, though, so I'm not really all that excited about severe weather chances. By late morning, we may be done. Cloudy, and then clouds this afternoon near 85. Tonight, cloudy, 65. Wednesday, clouds, give way to sunshine. Beautiful day, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
And just a few minutes ago, Ray saying that 4th of July looks like picture perfect. We have clouds right now, and it is 73 degrees with a little bit of rain on the way. If you're struggling with neck pain, back pain, and knee pain, wrist pain, or just need coffee, call Davey. You're dealing with Revive Softwave Therapy. I just had recommended this to somebody yesterday who is having a back issues that they can't see. They're going to a chiropractor. They're using the TENS unit. They're doing all of these things. But what about Revive Softwave Therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico? It really uses your own body to help repair itself. It increases blood supply, modulates inflammation, stimulates and activates stem cells, and repairs and generates tissue. And it is completely non-invasive and drug-free. Call today and get details. Ask about the $99 new patient special. I'm sure you've seen it on TV, the way they do it. It's these little flashes that actually do go through the skin, and it basically is simulating a small injury, and then your body goes to work. It's really incredible. And it's used by many professional athletes, sports teams, the Giants and the Nets, the Lakers, Cubs and Mets and Yankees, Steelers. The Mayo Clinic supporting it as well as Forbes. It's Revive Softwave Therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico, 315-725-8427. In Herkimer, Tony, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, this Saturday in Birmingham, England.
Okay.
The very final show with the original members of Black Sabbath. That includes Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward on drums. Wow.
Yeah, I was reading something about that this morning, as a matter of fact. Yeah, so you're there's also this is a story I read this morning. So you're saying this is going to be in Great Britain this weekend?
Birmingham, England.
Okay.
When they first started out. If you go to backtothebeginning.com, you can get all the details of the concert, the live stream that they're going to have. I guess the show starts at their end at 3 o'clock, which is like 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here, roughly, I think.
So do you know about Earth?
Yes.
Okay, so
that was their blues thing before they became Black Sabbath.
Before they became Black Sabbath, they were Earth. They were known as Earth. And you're familiar with the legendary Lost Tapes?
Yes and no.
So listen to this. There's news about a 1969 demo, or actually demos, comes from the band that was gearing up before they became Black Sabbath, and they are about to release this as the legendary Lost Tapes. When Black Sabbath was Earth, the band to the legendary heavy metal fronted by Ozzy Osbourne gets its time to shine on July 25th, when a collection of demos recorded in 1969 will be issued as Earth, the legendary Lost Tapes. So if you're a big fan, this might be something you want to check out.
Right, no doubt. Well, I'm sure it'll be on YouTube as well, and I'm sure somebody's going to record this on YouTube and play it. I'm sure of that.
And it actually mentions they'll be playing at the Birmingham Blues and Jazz Festival that will happen later on in the month as well. So pretty cool. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that.
Wow. Well, we got all kinds of. I mean, people say they're done. They're end of the road farewell tours. There's never a farewell tour. They keep coming back in a different version all the time, like the band Kiss. The Kiss ended their road tour in December of 2023. But what are they doing now? In November, they're playing the Virgin Hotel in Las Vegas.
Crazy.
Like, what?
Yeah, well, I don't know how these people stay alive, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I turned 50 and struggled getting out of bed. So
like people come here
50.
to the Stanley Theater all the time. You
That's
got
right.
Joan Jett, you got Alice Cooper. I mean, all these people are old, you know?
Yeah.
But still, it's generational music, you know?
No doubt. No doubt.
Yep.
All right. Okay, Tony, thanks, man. Have a great day.
I'm Tony Roney, and I approve this message.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bye, bud.
All right. Enjoy your time in the valley down in Herkimer. Richard said, did you say you're taking Thursday off? What holiday is July 3rd? How dare you? It's a travel day, Richard. Maybe that's what it is. Must be a new holiday, he says, and Friday's high 74, not 80. You must be taught by Ray how to exaggerate. I'm just going by what Ray said. He said close to 80. It'll be the high close to 80 degrees. Looks pretty good. All right, coming up, Steve Nuno. You'll know is a fitness instructor, personal fitness trainer, bodybuilder, weightlifter, a great athlete in the area. And now he's doing something absolutely completely different. And we'll explain coming up. He's in studio in a minute on WIBX.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you'd pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Don't wait for a breakdown to drain your savings. Future-proof your car with CarShield today and drive with confidence. Call CarShield for your free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
The 4th of July sale is on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 with the largest selection in central New York. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans. Hurry.
Make a difference in your community with the Boilermaker Volunteer Program. Join them in the heart of the action on July 13th. The volunteer portal is now open at boilermaker.com/volunteer. Brought to you by the Fountainhead Group. They have various needs and leadership opportunities available. Sign up today, be part of something amazing, and help make the Boilermaker unforgettable. Lace up your passion for Utica and volunteer at boilermaker.com now.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, let me bring in Mighty John, the record guy, here this morning. If you're out and about, and maybe, and I do this because whenever we have Mark Butler in, he's older than most of these records, so you're right at home.
That's right.
But, yard sales, you're out doing the garage sale thing, and you come across a gem. You never know what that gem could be worth, and it could be worth a lot of money. So today we bring you, if you're ready for this, we have a list of 10 records to be looking for this summer that are worth $100 or more in the month of July. Mighty John, the record guy, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Great to be with you today.
So it is true when you're out there and you don't even think about, you're going through things. And let me just look at the records. There's records at this sale. You never know when something is in there. And I think there's a little trick. A lot of times they put out, like Elvis records, for instance, they put out reissues. In the early 80s, they reissued on RCA, and they look just like the original, but you realize they are not the original just by the flimsy feel of the record.
True.
But
the Beatles as well. They reissued every Beatles record as well.
But every once in a while, somebody not knowing what they're doing, there's an original slipped somewhere in the middle of there, and I found one of those, and you can totally feel the difference, can't you?
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely.
So take advantage of that.
And there's always they change the cover in some way. Maybe they'll change the catalog number on the cover, or they'll change the font of the print on the label or the color of the label. Always something to tell you it's not an original.
Not an original. All right, what do you have? What should we be looking for here in July?
Well, let's look for the Police. Their album Synchronicity, a big album for them. The value, though, depends on the color of the cover. If it's black and white, it's up to $100. But if it's gold, green, and brown, $50. And if it's yellow, blue, and red, $10. So you want to look for a black and white cover of Synchronicity by the Police.
Okay.
How about The Who? The album The Who, Sell Out, featuring their hit I Can See for Miles. The album currently up to $125. Gene Chandler, better known as the Duke of Earl. The album in mono, up to $100. In stereo, up to $150. Mono or stereo can often make a big difference in value. Youngbloods, considered to be one-hit wonders with a hit called Get Together. The album The Youngbloods, currently up to $200. Some country could be collectible, too. Look for Emmylou Lou Harris, her first album, Gliding Bird, current value up to $500. The Supremes and Motown, overall very collectible. The Supremes' first 45, which did not feature Diana Ross, but Flo Ballard as the lead singer. I Want a Guy, current value up to $1,000. How about Rush? Their first 45, Not Fade Away, the Buddy Holly classic, done by Rush on Moon Records. That's the label to look for an original, up to $1,000. Elvis, as we say, everything by Elvis is worth money. He was once turned down as a talent on the Arthur Godfrey Talent Show back when it was the American Idol show of the day, because they said his performance was too weak when he sang Good Rockin' Tonight. Find a copy of the 45, up to $1,500. David Bowie, very collectible. A 45 of him called Time. We've often mentioned before that the picture sleeves that came with the 45s many times are worth much more than the actual record. In this case, the big money just for the picture sleeve for the 45 Time, current value up to $7,500. And when you're looking for those old records and you see a bunch of 78s, don't discard them just because they're old 78s. They can be quite collectible. From 1931, J.D. Short, Flagging It to Georgia. The blues are always collectible. Blues records from the 30s and 40s especially. J.D. Short, Flagging It to Georgia, current value up to $20,000.
Wow. So that I almost feel like for based on listening to your advice is if you see a 78 and it's blues, get it.
Pick it up.
Yeah. Because you've said that the one 78 genre, the one genre that on 78 it has values, it's the blues.
It's the blues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Now I have somebody asking the question. I was supposed to ask this last week and I didn't. Mike says, ask Mighty John if he was on a desert island and could only choose one album to have with him. What would that album be?
Boy, that's a tough choice.
That is a toughie.
I want to be with all of them.
Yeah.
Man, you know what pops to mind when you ask me that is Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys.
That sounds,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice.
That always pops
Good
to my
choice.
mind.
Which, by the way, is you want to get the original. It was in mono, so that's what you want to get.
Yeah, in mono, that's up to $800. That's true. And speaking of big deals, right now, through the 4th of July weekend, everything on my website, 50% off. So you want to check it out if you're in the market to get a record guide. We sell it for $24.95 normally. You get it for $12 right now through the 4th of July.
Love it. And I got to say that over 1 million records, and it comes now on a thumb drive, so it's easy to go through and check it all out. Good stuff, John. As always, we appreciate it. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th. Thanks, Bill.
All right. Mighty John, the record guide's moneymusic.com is the website.
You know, Bill, how songs bring back memories and things and records. And I know you're anxious to get going, but when I was in college, my roommate or my suite mate every morning would play Hocus Pocus by Focus and blast it into the quad. That was our get up in the morning, our reveille. And I was in Atlantic City a couple of years ago, sitting, having a beer.
Yeah.
And these two guys were there and we're talking. These two guys were in the band Focus. So
Get out of here.
I said, you guys are my idols. They said,
That
well,
is so funny.
the originals are gone. We replaced them, but we still do the same songs.
Well, that's a big thing, right?
Yeah.
That's I mean, think about the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
By the way, that Beach Boys album, Pet Sounds, was valued at $500 now that he's died. Brian Wilson.
Yeah.
Mighty John says it's worth $800. Interesting how that happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Beach Boys, Mike Love, maybe there's one other kind of original touring member, but for the most part, it's John Stamos and new guys. But boy, they do sound good when if you hear them in concert. Not sure why they canceled in Syracuse, because they played Friday night in Albany, but then canceled the Sunday Syracuse show, and they're playing this weekend, I believe, in Canandaigua or somewhere. And Stamos is going to be performing with them. Maybe they don't have a drummer without Stamos. I don't know. Dr. Kent Hall on the line right now. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. And here we are with vacation time, people getting ready to head off. And I don't know, it just seems like more than ever, it's, boy, I hope you can, I need to stay healthy. I'm doing everything. I'm staying away from people because I have a wedding coming up or I have a vacation coming up. How much of that has any value to it? Are you able to really protect yourself? I guess if you stay away from people, maybe.
Yeah. So yes, you can certainly do things that will decrease the likelihood. I'm going to parse my words carefully here. That will decrease the likelihood of you getting an infection with either virus or bacteria or whatever. And we're talking about two primary things at this time of year. There's the respiratory viruses, which are kind of on the wane. This is a low time for respiratory viruses. And again, it's because people are outside and they're spread out more and things like that. And then there's the GI viruses, which are, much, give people a lot more discomfort acutely, and those are entirely related to exposure from from contaminated food that gets in that or a utensil or something like that you use that is contaminated. So yes, you can certainly do things to protect yourself.
Yeah.
If you're talking about respiratory viruses, then the biggest thing is, you want to make sure that you're not around people in close proximity for extended periods of time indoors for people that are having symptoms, runny nose, fevers, cough, body aches, and if you have those things, then you should stay away from other people.
All right.
For the GI viruses, really the most important thing is really good hygiene for yourself, and to be smart in terms of what you're eating. If you're traveling to foreign countries where or even in the United States where there's a concern about an area that may have some infected food or whatever, then you want to make sure that you're staying away from that, or that things are being prepared well, cleaned well, things like that.
I got to tell you, for God's sakes, if you're going to Mexico, number one, do not drink the water, and number two, ice cubes are made of tap water. And the frozen part doesn't freeze the whatever is inside there. Be very careful of that. I don't know what the answer is when you go to Mexico, but
sounds
just
like
be careful.
He's learned from experience.
I have, and it's a long experience. All right, Doc, Mark Butler has a question.
Yeah, Doc, I want a free consultation. A few days ago. In the middle of the night, I had, I guess it was a dream that I was being electrocuted, and it really felt like my whole body was getting a shock, and it woke me up. Do you think that's any indication of something serious? I do have a doctor's appointment soon, and I will discuss it, but any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I would say that in and of itself is not an indication of any kind of serious problems. What I would say is that sounds like what's called a fugue dream, and a fugue dream is a dream that, for whatever reason, probably because of the areas of the brain that are activated during the dream cycle, is much more real to you.
Okay.
And that is, and it can give you, the physical sensations that you get during the dream. You can wake up and you can say, and you can feel as if you were just talking to somebody who's been dead for 10 or 15 years, because it is so real to you, and those are called fugue dreams.
Okay.
And they are and it sounds like that may be what you experienced there. So nothing in and of itself, nothing serious. Now, if it turns out that you're also having other symptoms, well, then yes, going to your doctor and talking about it, very good idea.
All right. Well, thank you, Doctor. I was just happy with that when I woke up. I wasn't Frankenstein.
You were still alive.
Yeah.
Listen, Doc, I have, and we've talked about this before, whatever the condition is called, where your body acts out the nightmares that you might be having. And it can become really eventful. Like one recently, my wife was like, I thought you were literally levitating off the bed. Like I thought your feet were off the bed. Turns out I was climbing up the headboard. I say this in jest, but I'm telling you, it's real. Are you familiar with those? And I've gone to sleep doctors, and everybody wants to put you on medication and that sort of thing. I'm just like a little shot of vodka before bed fixes all problems.
Well, as long as I've got you, Doc, I got this pain in my hip. I'm kidding.
You want to comment on that, Doc, or just leave it alone?
So, which one? Your
that'd be the literally
or the pain in the
yeah, like literally my feet were off the bed. Apparently, they were off the mattress. I remember none of this, by the way. No recollection. I think she's making this crap up just to mess with me.
So I can't speak to that specifically. What I would say is that, it does sound like you have some kind of a muscular twitching, tremulousness kind of thing, kind of like restless leg, only not
Okay.
the same thing because it sounds like it is stimulated by a dream state, but I will be honest with you, I don't know. That's about as much as I know about it. So,
Bill, just another one to add to your list.
It is just another one. I swear to God, those long body pillows?
Yeah.
My wife has 3 of them, and she creates how they used to build the forts back in the World War II? That's what she creates. It's quite high. I can't get over it. That's how she protects herself. All right, Doc, as always, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And, we always save a copay every once in a while. That's good.
Thanks, everybody.
All
Have
right.
a great day.
Okay.
Please be safe.
You do the same, Dr. Kent Hall. And also in studio, I want to say good morning to Steve Nuno. Steve, good morning, and thanks so much for coming in.
We appreciate you having me very much.
So I have to have you literally right on that.
Okay.
So if you want to turn it a little bit, feel free to just do what you need to do with this. All right. You have, and I have to say, you have set me for, I never saw this coming.
I don't think anybody did, to be perfectly honest with you, but I didn't either. So from that standpoint, as you well know, I ran into a couple issues later on in my recent past, and it changes the way you think about life.
It does. So can we just talk?
Sure, we can talk about anything.
You're the reason I'm going to Roswell.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I think you're doing fantastic from what I hear.
Things are good, and it's a trial, which is helpful, especially with the very expensive medicine.
Yeah.
But you're the person that recommended you got to go there.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing facility, and it's certainly, I think if you go to a facility and it goes well for you, then you and your family are completely dedicated to that facility.
Yeah.
And so I did so well at Roswell that I really suggest it to anyone that asks me how it went.
Yeah.
I just take people straight there.
Well, they really do take care of you tremendously, and I love the fact that it's a team of people that are working on your problem.
I think that's the best, actually.
It is. Yeah.
It's only 4 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
And why, sometimes people say, well, that's all the way in Buffalo. And I'm thinking,
yeah,
it's all the way in Buffalo and they can save my life. I'm going to Buffalo.
That's exactly right. By the way, I have it down to 2 hours and 50 minutes. So,
do you really?
I can.
Well, be careful. They got those speed cameras.
I know,
now.
you got to be careful.
Yeah.
You do have to be careful. But, and there is some other, for people traveling out of town like us, the hotel, they give you a special rate, which is a hospital rate. And there's a tunnel that goes down through the hotel into the hospital. So you never, in the wintertime, it's awesome. You never go outdoors.
Yeah, you're never outdoors. And people in the hotel even know that you're a patient.
They do.
And they treat you great.
Yeah, it's really, it's a great experience. So you think of things a little differently.
Yeah, kind of ran into.
This, though, I never saw coming.
Nobody did. And it's a strange thing. I'm at Roswell. There was an opportunity as you're getting healthier and you're getting better where they said you could spend some time and have your chemo in the children's wing. And so I said, geez, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
And what do we do when we get there? They said, well, you can read stories, you can play with the children, you can do what you want. The children will kind of let you know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I went for a day, and I noticed going down the hallway, Santa Claus. So I just asked the nurse that was with me, I said, just why? Well, it was April. And I said, why is Santa Claus here today?
Yeah.
She just gave me a story, which made a lot of sense. It's not necessarily a guarantee that these kids are going to see December.
Which is awful when you think about it.
And it went into a big concept, and I said to her right then and there, how do you get involved in that program? And she brought me right into another room to meet another person, showed me who ran that program. And I've been up at Roswell for 3 years as a Santa Claus portrayal. And I want to tell you, you went to Santa Claus school. So I went to 4 schools.
Oh, I did not know.
So I've been out of control with this, as you well know, because you've known me forever. Whatever I decide to do, I'm jumping it.
Yep.
So they told me where to go, which was an online school. You had to pass that school in order to work for them, and it's a volunteer basis, but in order to appear for them. And then the next school I'm like, well, where can you learn how to do this even more? And they gave me some schools. So I've been to Michigan. I've been to Arizona.
Wow.
I've been to Atlanta.
And there's something to be said, if I'm correct, for, people can volunteer and be Santa. We see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when the kid asks you a certain question, are you going to give the correct answer?
Yeah,
And
I think you have to really, again, I did not, you kind of, you think, okay, I can do this in a weekend. And I've been an occasional Santa Claus at maybe a volunteer Christmas party or something. And then you go to these schools and they start quizzing you on the history of Santa Claus and every possible question that a child could answer. And I go like 0 for 10. And they're like, you better start paying attention because you're behind.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot.
Yeah.
And the biggest key is, I think at that particular moment while you're speaking to that child feels they're talking to Santa.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you did that kid injustice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from.
And you have now parlayed this into...
Yeah, so we turned it into a company. I was, again, most of my work is through Roswell. We turned this into a company where they're like, Steve, your portrayal is pretty spot on.
Yeah.
You should really do this for more people. So I said, well, let's just start a company.
Yeah.
So at that point, I visited a couple more companies around the country to see how they do things, to kind of get some ideas, and then came up with Santa's Magical Visits. And our first event is going to be a kickoff event right here in Hotel Utica on November 29th. The theme behind it is Santa Claus is already going to be in New York City on Thanksgiving for the Thanksgiving Day Parade. So we contacted his people and asked Santa if he wouldn't mind coming up the Thruway 4 hours and spending the weekend in Utica, and he said yes. So he's going to spend.
Here we are.
He's right where we are.
I always wondered what Santa did the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, now we
he's
know.
busy. He's busy.
I know.
And the best part about it was we used the Thanksgiving Day Parade since they were drawing him in, and he's there, as everyone knows. So we said, listen, before you head back to the North Pole, would you mind coming up the Thruway? And he said, sure, I'll spend the weekend in Utica. And so that started off the event.
So this will be basically your grand opening
This is
of the
our grand
business.
opening event. We chose to use July 1st as a Christmas in July type launch. And this is going to be our grand event, Santa's Kickoff to Christmas. It's a very special event. Santa's going to bring reindeer. There'll be live reindeer there.
Wow.
Horse carriage rides. We rented the entire hotel, so we have both floors of the hotel. There's going to be all kinds of different events there. The kids will be able to make hot chocolate and treats. They'll be able to make elf hats. There's going to be 12 different elves there that Santa's going to bring.
Now, this date at Hotel Utica is...
November 29th.
November 29th. July 1st is when you can start getting tickets.
Yep, so you can start today to get tickets.
Okay. Today's July 1st. I forgot.
So the event is November 29th, which is the first Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And we chose that date because Santa was still willing to stay in New York.
Very nice.
And then he's going to leave us, so we wanted to get on it quick.
He's trying to keep the peace on Black Friday. So, he has a lot to do, especially in New York. Yeah. All right. So this is going to be, so if you have a kid, a grandchild, whatever, this is
the place to go.
The most authentic, because I got to say, we would take our kids to Macy's.
Yes.
And that's a legendary experience, and you wait in line. But this is that sort of thing that you're creating.
Kind of that sort of thing, but we really wanted it to be like kind of an off-Broadway presentation. So like we said, we've taken the entire Hotel Utica. There's going to be stations. No one's going to be waiting in line. You can visit your reindeers. You can go on horse carriage rides. Mrs. Claus will be there, of course, because she travels with Santa wherever he goes.
Important.
We're going to have elves. All the elves are trained actors that we'll be visiting. We also have Santa and his North Pole pals, which feature Wannabe, a Christmas moose.
Okay.
And he's really a big part of the show.
Yeah.
Because his name's Wannabe, because he always wants to be someone else. So that he talks to the kids a little bit about, after he thinks about being someone else, how he's happy to just be himself.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of education that goes with it.
There's a lesson there.
Yeah. So there's a lot to it. We're really excited about it.
All right, where do people go? So the kickoff really begins today.
The kickoff began at midnight.
Yeah.
And I wanted people to know through your show and through your generosity that they could get tickets. And it looks like we've already had 12 people buy tickets, so people are getting on.
Awesome.
So we're happy.
And it's July.
So it's July, and no one's really thinking about Christmas too much. But it's we have a website, Santa's Magical Visits.
Okay.
And if they jump on the website, they can learn all about the event, all about what we're about, and then also they can purchase their tickets right there on the website.
So quickly, and so the event happens the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
But is this a service where someone can call and say, we need a special Santa Claus?
Yeah, they should definitely get in touch with us through the website, or my phone number's on the website. Or if they need us for a special event, we're certainly available. And if they know of a family that's in need of possibly having Santa and maybe some of his North Pole veils visit due to maybe someone's going through an unfortunate time, we're available always for that.
Okay.
And that's year round.
Yeah.
We just were in Pennsylvania for 2 days visiting children last week, and we'll go anytime, anywhere.
So this is your inspiration that came out of your very
it came out with I really believe strongly that I'm here for a reason.
Yeah. And
that somehow there's a second chance, and I think this is a small part of it. But when you leave these children, there's not a dollar figure that you can put on how good you feel.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm doing anything out of the ordinary, but it gives you a great feeling when you leave these kids.
I bet it does. And to think that the reason Santa is there in April or May is because maybe the child.
It's very, very hard.
Tough to think
than
about.
you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
The hard part is not the child, because the child is pretty upbeat to see you.
Yeah.
You really have a good rapport with the child. The hard part is when you're dealing with the parents or their guardians, and that's devastating to watch.
Yeah.
Because that parent probably has a good idea that this is probably the last time they're going to see Santa, and that's not a comfortable feeling.
No, I cannot. This is why I say, and I'm sure you're the same, when you hear people say, how are you doing? I am absolutely fine. You do not need to worry about me.
Yeah.
Let's think about all of these. For me, it's always the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a child that is
when
going
you're
through
up
this. It's tough.
I keep bringing up Roswell because that's my personal experience. But when you're up there and you have a moment where you might feel bad that you're going through chemo, and then you go to the children's wing, you forget you're going through chemo.
Yeah.
Because you realize what's important.
Yeah.
And it takes just a second.
You are not feeling sorry for yourself anymore.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Because it's unbelievable what these families go through.
All right, I love it, and we'll continue to help spread the word as the year goes on.
I appreciate it so
All
much.
Right, good stuff, Steve.
Great stuff, Steve. Wonderful.
What a great. Now I feel guilty because I haven't come away from my experience doing anything epic like this.
You do everything every day, so you're helping me. You help everybody. I wouldn't worry about that.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Great stuff. And again, the website is Santa's Magical Visits.
Yes.
.com.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, Davey, let's. What are you doing for Hobeika's free money question? Mr. Hobeika loves to give away money.
I love Mr. Hobeika.
He gives away money.
$200.
$200. We'll take caller number.
Caller number 7.
Seventh caller right now. It's worth $200 this morning. 315-736-0186 on WIBX.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. All month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is celebrating America with their Made in America sale. Stop in today and explore their extensive inventory and their many new arrivals for every room in your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse style, and traditional. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or Gold Bond flippable mattresses. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally for free of charge, or you can pick it up yourself from the showroom. So stop in to Adirondack Home Furniture today and celebrate America with the Made in America sale going on now. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Thunderstorm chances increasing today. It's a marginal risk, which is on the lower end of severe weather, but still got to make that mention of shower storms here as we head on through this morning that could potentially be severe. They'll be isolated, though, so I'm not really all that excited about severe weather chances. By late morning, we may be done. Cloudy, and then clouds this afternoon near 85. Tonight, cloudy, 65. Wednesday, clouds give way to sunshine. Beautiful day, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
We have some drizzle and 73 degrees right now. Coming up, free money question, and we'll talk with John Zogby coming up here at WIBX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see Get a Phone on Us, get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
So I've actually had some people going to the website, Steve's website, the Santa website, and it's and they're saying there's nothing there. No, it is there. You just have to make sure you spell it correctly. Santa's with an S. Santa's, 2 S's, by the way. Santa's Magical Visits with an S.com. So it's not visit, it's visits. Santa's Magical Visits.com. And you can check it out all there. Pretty cool what he's doing. Let's do Hobica's free money question of the day. It is worth $200. It's $200 from the Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica, for all of your legal needs. Call 315-724-1600 for your legal needs today. There you go. And actually, Joe will be in here tomorrow morning. We'll get an update on the school district and all that here tomorrow. Okay, Bob is our contestant, ready to play for Hobica's free money question of the day. Bob in New York Mills, good morning. It's worth $200 today. Good morning.
Well, hello, Bill.
Well, hello, Bob. All right, listen, this is a tough question, but you know it's worth $200. You think you're ready to take a shot?
Yes, I am.
All right, you realize you're going to have exactly 7 seconds to answer. And here is your question. Hocus Pocus was performed by what band? Ready, go.
Is it the Who?
Is it the Who? No, I said who? It's Mr. Butler can tell you.
Hocus Pocus
one of
by
his,
Focus.
It's Hocus Pocus by Focus. Which he had kind of just said.
You've got to pay closer attention.
And this used to play, what school were you going to?
Well, this was at Potsdam State.
Potsdam, yeah. All right, Stefan, stand by. We're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card good at Babes and Aquavino and Taylor and the Cook, the Odd, Nexus, Cookies, Q, and Creamery. You stand by. Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
Okay.
All right, Stephen. Thank you, man. Hold your horses. All right, coming up, let's go to this new polling on Iran. Of course, this is moving so very quickly. It's just hard to keep up. And, of course, the Senate working overtime overnight, trying to get the big, beautiful bill to a position where they can actually vote on it. And John Zogby's on with us right now. So much in the world happening so quickly. It's got to be hard to keep up.
Yeah, that's why we just constantly in the field tracking, making sure that we're on top of any of these nuances or changes. By and large, the overwhelming majority of voters are locked in to one side or the other.
Yeah.
And so don't filter in any information counter to their beliefs, their ideology or political positions. But there is movement, and the movement is away from Donald Trump. His numbers, he's not in free fall by any sense, but his numbers are down a bit. We've generally had him, at about 49% approval, and about the same disapproval. But our latest poll, taken just late last week, 45% approval, 53 disapproval. So that is some significant.
Yeah. So I was reading your release on this, and I thought it was interesting, but not necessarily surprising. Republicans have really not moved. Democrats have really not moved. But it is that independent category that is key in this.
Yeah, it is, and there's been a pretty dramatic movement there. First of all, about the Republicans and lack of move, it's interesting because, it was just in the earlier part of last week that Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities were struck, and there was severe criticism from some prime MAGA folks, but that hasn't filtered down to the mainstream Republicans, where the president still enjoys 85-87% support. Yeah, it is independents, and the president's down by double digits, approve, disapprove, among independents.
I find it interesting with people who are, and let's just focus on the strong supporters of President Trump. You'll have a conversation with someone who will be very angry over something. I wish you wouldn't do this, and I'm done. But then 2 days later, they're not done anymore. And the other thing that I think you hear from supporters is, but look at the alternative. And very similar to what you would hear with Biden when you're watching him and he's barely able to walk up the stairs, and you say, yeah, but look at the alternative. It could be Trump. So I think both sides are dug in so deeply they're not willing to surrender.
Yeah, it's almost like an earthquake-proof building. When the earthquake happens, the way the structure is, it congeals as opposed to cracks or falls apart. And I think each side is sustaining the other side.
Yeah.
Even more so than the true believers.
To those independents, a lot of them are young people as well. That is the area that they're having a little buyer's remorse right now.
They are.
Yeah.
Yep, they are. Trump still does better among younger voters than previous Republicans have, but there's been, pretty significant slippage since his performance last November.
I want to ask you on a different topic, and I didn't prepare you for this, but I know you'll be able to pick right up very quickly on the topic, and that is New York City and what that means for the country. It's easy for people to say, well, the far right is in control and and that's what's become of the Republican Party. Well, listen, that's the pot calling the kettle black for Democrats, right?
Yeah. Look, we've talked about this many times together, and I have really kind of taken a leadership on millennials and Gen Z and what they mean to the country's future. What that was as much a generational and an establishment versus anti-establishment election. I think what folks have to understand is that the term socialism, democratic socialism, is not anathema to younger voters. It doesn't scare them. And so when the argument used against someone like a Mamdani or a Bernie or an AOC, it just kind of rolls off the back as far as young people are concerned. Whether they know the full meaning of it or whether anybody knows the full meaning of the term or not, that's you're not going to run a successful campaign against someone by calling them a socialist anymore.
Yeah. Especially in New York. And, I my observation in the city, and I spent a lot of time there, is it is, during COVID, a lot of the older people who lived their entire lives in New York City moved out. And younger people have moved in. It is a much younger city than it used to be.
It is, and Mamdani tapped into that, the youth anxiety and youth culture. And I think the biggest thing he has going for himself, aside from really running a very astute, modern campaign, is his authenticity. In the sense that he doesn't back down from his beliefs. And in fact, if pressure were put on him to compromise on, say, Palestine, or compromise on affordability, or a compromise on crime, he'd lose that edge that he has.
Yeah. Final question: what happens in the general here
in New York?
Yeah.
Wow, what a mishmash. I think the odds are in his favor, but we have Andrew Cuomo is going to be on the ballot. It's still a question mark as to whether he's going to aggressively campaign or not. My gut sense tells me if Mamdani can hold on and be who he is, then he can get enough votes to win in a 4-5-way race.
Wow.
But can I just jump in for a minute, John?
Sure.
I think Mamdani's negatives reach beyond socialism. He's anti-Jewish. He's for, infanticide and all of those things, and they kind of are getting brushed aside, and socialism with the big S seems to be the big issue. But I think the whole package raises some real concerns about his beliefs.
Yeah, let's be firm here about the anti-Semitism versus criticism of Israel. Those are two different things. And one can one criticize Israel and call Israel's actions in Gaza genocide, ethnic cleansing, and still not be anti-Semitic? I just did, and I'm not.
Well, that has been a very good strategy for Republicans. That automatically, if you criticize the war, if you criticize Israel in the war, you are anti-Jewish. And boy, that couldn't really be further from the truth.
It can't be. No, I mean, one can even make the argument among Jewish voters who are very much opposed to what Israel is doing that they're not anti-Jewish. By criticizing their own country. I'm not anti-American if I criticize Donald Trump.
It's very interesting how this is being perceived. However, anti-Israel and the war does bring out the anti-Semites. I mean, that's going to happen, and that's where I think this all clouds everything. But listen, we're talking about the difference between being an anti-Semite and someone who is anti-war and utilizing free speech. It's tricky.
It is tricky, and yet this was going on long before there was a Mamdani campaign.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to understand that as we head into November, there are going to be alternatives to Mamdani. Will they run the kind of campaign that they need to get their 26%, I guess, in a four-way race?
Going to be interesting.
In order to win. Yeah, it is already.
We'll do it again soon, John. Thank you as always.
Okay, great.
All right, have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment, and trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
I'm Dr. Andrew Rosansky. When I joined Dr. Schulman 11 years ago, I joined the team and added my name to the business, and I have kept the tradition of the best family dentistry. Today, I am continuing the quality service people have come to expect with a name change, Rosansky Family Dentistry. We are accepting new patients. I'm looking forward to seeing you and your family.
Rosansky Family Dentistry, the same quality service with a new name. 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
A new Senate record. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. There have now been at least 45 votes on proposed amendments to the Republicans' big tax and spending bill, a vote-a-rama that started 23 and a half hours ago. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Fox and Friends.
I was just in touch with leadership up on the Hill, and I can tell you we are moving toward a vote today.
Fox's Aisha Hosni at the Capitol.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune does not currently have the votes to pass President Trump's big, beautiful bill, although the White House has now sent in Vice President J.D. Vance, and he's here not so much as the tie-breaking vote. Probably more likely he's here to try to negotiate, use his relationships with these senators to try to bring them across the finish line. You have two hard-nosed, Rand Paul and Thom Tillis. We have heard in the overnight hours that there were some efforts to try to flip Rand Paul by reducing the debt ceiling increase. That was something that he was pretty unhappy about, the debt ceiling being attached to this big, beautiful bill.
With no support from Democrats, no more than 3 Republicans can vote no for the bill to pass. President Trump will be in Florida today to see a new immigration detention facility in the Everglades.
The detention center is set on the Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport. Alligator Alcatraz will have 5,000 beds. The state says the site will cost $450 million a year to operate, which will be reimbursed by FEMA. Over the weekend, protesters lined up along Highway 41, which runs through the Everglades. Environmental activists have a federal lawsuit saying state and federal agencies did not follow environmental and land use laws. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin is calling the lawsuit lazy, saying the land has been developed for more than a decade.
Fox's Madeline Rivera in D.C. It's day 2 of deliberations at the Sean Diddy Combs sex crimes trial in New York. Jurors so far have a question about the definition of drug distribution and want guidance about one juror alleged to not be able to follow the court's instructions. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
There's a city workers' strike in Philadelphia.
District Council 33 calling the strike at midnight after a negotiating session failed to reach a tentative contract deal with the city. The walkout affects about 10,000 city employees, including those who collect trash, answer 911 calls, maintain city pools, library workers, and others. Mayor Sherelle Parker said the city offered raises that amounted to 13% over the next 4 years, but it was turned down. The union had also been asking the city to pay the full cost of employee health care.
Fox's Sue Guzman, residential trash and recycling pickup is suspended in Philly. It's drop-off only. Some pools are closed and rec centers close early. Hawaii's governor signs bills cracking down on illegal fireworks.
The 5 bills prompted by a massive explosion at a New Year's Eve party that killed 6 people and severely burned more than a dozen others. The new laws take effect immediately. First offenders will get slapped with a $300 fine. Repeat offenders, or ones that cause injury or death, could get prison time.
It's Fox's Gary Baumgarten. Thailand's prime minister is suspended over a leaked phone call.
Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra is accused of a breach of ethics. She called an influential former leader of Cambodia in an attempt to defuse tensions along the two countries' border. This set off a series of complaints and public protests. Thailand's Constitutional Court judges have approved the suspension pending an investigation that could remove Prime Minister Shinawatra from office. During the call, she made controversial comments about an army commander and seemed to be making attempts to appease the Cambodian former leader. Shinawatra says she was trying to protect the country and preserve peace. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
The British royal family's private train will be retired by 2027 as a cost-cutting measure. The current 9-car train was introduced in 1977. Queen Victoria had the first in 1842. I'm Chris Foster. This is Fox News.
Thunderstorm chances increasing today. It's a marginal risk, which is on the lower end of severe weather, but still got to make that mention of shower storms here as we head on through this morning that could potentially be severe. They'll be isolated, though, so I'm not really all that excited about severe weather chances. By late morning, we may be done. Cloudy, and then clouds this afternoon near 85. Tonight, cloudy, 65. Wednesday, clouds give way to sunshine. Beautiful day, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Well, we have some drizzle falling out there right now. And it is 73 degrees, Mark Bodler. 73, Mark, is our...
75 is ideal.
Is our guest. And 4th of July, it looks like you're going to have that beautiful day.
Yeah.
According to Richard, mid-70s.
Well, he said somewhere between 20 and 80%.
That's right. Listen, if you need concrete work, brickwork, anything masonry, it is Brank Construction. Call 315-894-3481 for Brank. Foundation repair, old stone walls and block walls, repairs to chimneys, retaining walls. They built a stairway into our backyard at our last home that was just the most beautiful. I mean, it was spectacular. And if you ask them to show you a picture of it, I'm sure they'll show you, and they could build the exact same thing for you. As opposed to having that little hill that goes into your backyard. Maybe that's what you have. A stairway and a retaining wall from Brank would be beautiful. 315-894-3481. It's Brank Construction. And Ricky Z at Steep Pawnee Mazda. Their Move to Mazda sales event continues. And you know how you realize, Mark, that this is working? When you're driving down the road, and I heard your jealousy this morning. I heard. I drove in. You were driving in at the same time and walking and couldn't say anything nice. Instead, you had to say, there you are in your fancy Mazda.
Yeah, parked right next to my beat-up old Chevy Silverado. America, America.
Neither one were built in America, do you realize? Probably the Mazda was. It's possible.
Could be. But I will say, do you realize all the advertising? I mean, since Trump, made in America.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
And then, in some respect, he's kind of changed the thought process there. And suddenly focused on America.
Yeah, because I'd never heard that made in America thing before.
Yeah. For a while, it wasn't a real selling point.
Well, it certainly wasn't for cars, right?
Right.
For quite a while.
Right.
Nonetheless, save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s. the 5s, the CX50s, CX70s, or the one that you know Mr. Butler is very envious of, my CX90. He loves it. See Rick or anybody over at the dealership for details. Mazda, by the way,
trade out.
finished 2024 with a, that is not, by the way. They don't do that here. Mazda finished 2024 with a 16.8% sales increase year over year and was awarded more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than any other brand. As Rick says, come on in. Let's make your deal on a Steep Bunny Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. All right, Paul Buckley comes in. He, yes, is the movie czar, and there's a big event that's going to be happening on Thursday at Harbor Point. It's active. It's open, and it's going to be pretty cool. We'll bring in Paul Buckley coming up next to WIBX.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
No store in New York State has all these brands under one roof except Mattress Express, and our 4th of July sales are on. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta Eye Comfort, and Avocado. You heard me right. And after purchase, if you see it advertised less within 90 days, bring it to our attention. We refund the difference. If all that weren't enough, take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. And we have no credit check payment plans. In New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. In Oneida in the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Hurry, the 4th of July sales are on.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
Life's unpredictable and full of unknowns, but your vehicle shouldn't be. No one wants to face an unexpected repair that could derail their plans and budget. That's why we're introducing CarShield, the ultimate way to future-proof your ride. We're not just about fixing problems, we're about preventing financial surprises. You can get a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan designed to save you from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine driving with complete peace of mind, knowing that if something goes wrong, you'll pay almost nothing for covered repairs. Included in every plan is free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, making it accessible to any driver. Don't wait for a breakdown to realize you need coverage. Invest in the future of your vehicle and your wallet today. Call CarShield now for your free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. Future-proof your ride. Call CarShield now. 800-923-6829. 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
As the host of Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy is used to saving the entire world and all who inhabit it. But this 4th of July, Kennedy is saving America. Kennedy is teaming up with her patriotic pals to talk 4th of July recipes, sip some delicious cocktails, and have a great time in honor of the great US of A. It's going to be a blast, so you won't want to miss Kennedy Saves America.
Airing Friday, July 4th at 7 a.m. on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Alrighty now, in studio. Of course, this morning we have Mark Butler, who is our guest host.
Thank you very much.
Who really has done a nice job of not insulting people today. I want to thank you for that. I mean, it has been...
I was very kind the last time. You're the only one I insulted.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
Views.
Anything close to center is too extreme one way or the other these days. All right, listen. In studio is Paul Buckley. Good morning, Paul. Mr. Movie Czar of Utica, and you're making a little something for the TV show, I'm assuming, right now.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm documenting this for the show as well, and there's a rarity that we have this honor to have the symphony here, so it's something that I've never seen here before, so I'm going to share it with the residents.
Well, this is special.
Yes, very much
and
so.
we'll explain. From the Albany Symphony is Emily Fritz-Endress. Good morning.
Good morning.
And what makes this so special for us is this harbor, Harbor Point, has now just been completed, and for years it was just a manufacturing hub. The only one, by the way, that actually comes off the canal. It's the only one in the entire canal system.
Right.
But it was here for manufacturing, and a very key part of moving goods out of here, both east and west. And now we finally found something really cool to do with it, and this is the first big event other than the grand opening. So we're very excited.
We are so thrilled. So yes, I'm here from the Albany Symphony, which is based in Albany, New York, and we are on a big grand adventure that we've done in partnership with the New York State Canal Corporation to celebrate the Erie Canal bicentennial season. And so we've been bringing festivals to life that are in beautiful canal-side communities all the way across New York State. And on Thursday, July 3rd, we're going to be in Utica at Harbor Point. And as you say, when we were picking where we were going to stop, we did all these site visits to all these cool little canal-side places.
Yeah.
And we saw Harbor Point and we said, oh my gosh, I see it. The
perfect.
festival designs itself.
Yeah. And this celebrates the completion of the canal.
That's correct.
Which,
yes.
if you're into any bit of history. Yeah. Okay, so if you could talk about how all of this will work and times and and all of that.
Absolutely. Well, we want as many people to come out as possible. As we said, New Harbor Point, and we know it just has recently come to life. And the second we saw it, we said, oh my gosh, this water view is just extraordinary. And the band shell's over here, and we can put together some amazing opening acts, and we can build a stage over here that's going to fit a 37-person orchestra. Our Grammy Award-winning Albany Symphony is going to be here performing, and we've going to build out the whole rest of the space. We've got the ability to use the boat launch, which is now ready to go for anybody who wants to hop out onto the water and really enjoy that aspect of what makes the canals great. And then we've got an incredible food festival and family-friendly activities and vendors and artisans and bubbles and the whole thing. So it all starts Thursday, July 3rd at 1 p.m. That's when we'll have all the activities and a taste of Utica. Food trucks from all over town are going to be coming in to give some food.
By the way, what was your Grammy? What did you win a Grammy for?
Oh, for Best Orchestral Performance. So,
cool.
yeah, 2 of them in the last couple of years.
Just add a comment. Could you please put a little more enthusiasm into your presentation?
Is she excited or what?
Can I ask you, do you perform, or are you the PR person?
Oh, I'm the executive director.
You are the executive director.
So I'm just over here making sure everybody's in the right place at the right time.
Okay. And I'm going to make an assumption that you're not a musician.
I play the clarinet,
but
not in the orchestra. I leave that to the professionals.
Okay. Because usually the professional musicians need someone who is not a professional musician to organize. And I think Paul was just saying how unbelievably organized you have all of this. This is really so that's a compliment, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's a team effort. It really is. And we're lucky to have an amazing team. And more so, we're lucky to have incredible partners in the New York State Canal Corporation and the New York Power Authority. They have just been the brainchild of this whole reimagine the canals and really making sure that throughout this bicentennial season, there are things happening that make everybody feel proud of living near these canal systems and activating these locks and these canal side parks and things like that. And we can contribute to that through music and through putting together incredible free festivals that we know people are going to love.
Think about all the other places in the world where they have celebrated their waterways, and we're finally getting around to it.
Yeah,
because this I think is a great opportunity, especially if you live in upstate New York, where we aren't living by the ocean. We're not. So water is awesome, and you have this river and this canal going right through.
And the way we've been thinking about water is not only kind of a form of life and the way it brings people together and makes a city a really beautiful, wonderful, safe, environmentally gorgeous place to live, but the ways that it connects us. And I think we've been really inspired by getting to know the city of Utica and understanding how the waterways in the city itself has created a sense of belonging. And so on Thursday, what we've really dug into is unearthing Utica's history as a city of refugees and as a city with a lot of different immigrant populations. And so on Thursday, what we are doing is bringing that to life through the Taste of Utica. We have 2 different opening acts, one at 1:30 at the Bandshell, and then at 5:30, the center at Utica has put together 8 or 9 different dance groups and performers, Bosnian, Latino, German, Irish, Karen, Somali, all different groups that are going to be able to showcase things that they care about so deeply and that they have brought to this wonderful region.
I like it.
Bill, I had an inspiration. That'd be a great day for a live remote. Oh, that's right. You're off Thursday.
Yeah.
He's in New York.
So he's messing with me.
Talk about the parking and the and boating.
Oh, sure. Well, we want to make it as simple as possible, and we appreciate you all having the grand opening a couple weeks ago to work through the kinks and everything.
Yes.
But yes, all the main event starts at 1 o'clock, but I just want to make sure everybody knows the orchestra is going on at 8 p.m. So that's when the orchestra will be performing under the baton of David Allen Miller, who is our incredible maestro, our music director of many decades. And this whole project has been just his brainchild as well. And so that orchestra concert at 8 o'clock, we play some music that is some of our favorite orchestral music, Handel's Water music, some patriotic themes, Stars and Stripes, Forever, This Land Is Your Land, all that good stuff. But the centerpiece of the concert is a piece that we wrote especially to dedicate to the people of Utica.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so there's...
How many locations do you? So you're starting in Buffalo.
Yeah, 5 locations.
So it'll be 5.
Your stop number 2.
All right, and the fact that we're 1 of 5 is really awesome. Yeah. I'm assuming it's all because of Paul. Anything else you want to make?
Yeah, I want to mention the shuttle. The shuttle start
okay.
the parking.
All right.
So the shuttle starts at 6 o'clock for the main event. You know, there shouldn't be that problem getting finding parking around there for the daytime. But at 6 o'clock at the Nexus Center. What's it?
So you'll be parking down there and shuttling people.
Central is going to be doing bus shuttle to and from the event, so it shouldn't be a problem, and it's going to be great. And it's bringing a little bit of culture to Utica.
Yeah,
great. That's good.
And she's unbelievable.
Oh.
I
was going to say,
favor?
Utica already has all the culture it needs. All we're doing is being able to help uplift and amplify that.
Some would say we have a little too much culture at times, but
you're doing a special tune for Utica. Could you work in something for Newport? Just a shorter one. Just a short one. It's a
he
small
is
town.
the mayor of Newport, New York.
Now we got it. Well, what makes Newport special? We love artistic inspiration.
Well, Newport is where the Yale lock was invented. Linus Yale invented the Yale lock in Newport.
Oh, my God.
That's our claim to
Is there a Yale museum there?
No, there isn't.
Oh, well.
That I did not. I
did not know that either.
I was going to say, I can see the activity now. Lock picking. I think there's going to be a tent where you can learn how to pick locks or something, right? Right? Yeah. No.
At first, I was thinking Yale made the locks on the canal, but no, we're talking about locks.
Yes.
I did not know that was from Newport, New York.
Yes.
That's really cool.
See, this is why you have to spend time in places like this. You learn so much.
This show is unbelievable.
And
every time.
And what we've loved about getting to know Utica, our composer who has written a piece for the city has been in residence. And so he's been visiting the city over the last many months. And the way he wanted to get to know the city was through food. And so he's been in people's kitchens and cooking and getting to know them through food.
That's really cool.
And so the piece that he's written is really a dedication to the city's incredible food scene, in addition to having all these gems of fun facts.
I think the name of the song is "It's Not Ragu."
It's not ragu. Yeah. Chicken reggae, tomato pie, all those
half moons.
Green.
Well, the only way you can find out is Thursday, July 3rd.
And that is 8 p.m.
8 p.m. is the orchestra concert. Activities start at 1 and opening acts at 5:30.
And boats are welcome.
Boats are welcome.
You can bring your own personal kayak, rowboat, whatever you want to paddle around the canal.
Emily, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Great job. Paul, as always.
Isn't she unbelievable?
Cut out the bad parts from me, but I'm sure you have
I don't shoot bad parts.
A gem. A
it
gem
is.
of
It
the
is.
video.
Oh, my goodness.
This will air when? Next month.
In August.
In August.
Yeah.
All right.
My new July show comes out this Sunday.
Love it. Paul, thank you. Emily, we appreciate
William,
it.
Thank
you so much.
Mayor.
Thank you,
Quick,
Paul.
quick break.
I will.
It is 8:25 at WIBX.
Why do people shop at Mattress Express? Our guaranteed lowest price program. Bring in any locally advertised price on a mattress we carry, will beat the price. If within 90 days of purchase you see it advertised for less locally, bring it to our attention. We will refund the difference.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
You don't need to drive all around. Come to Seneca and Valley for the best prices in town. Save on every bottle, every case, every day. And our 40-mile price match backs you all the way.
Start your summer off right at Seneca Wine and Liquor and Valley Wine and Liquor. Stock up on your favorite wines and champagnes with our fantastic 20% off wine case sale. Mix and match your favorites to create your perfect wine case selection. Whether you're hosting a barbecue, relaxing poolside, enjoying a day at the lake, or planning a cozy evening at home, we've got you covered. Hurry, 20% off wine cases is available now through July 30th. Only at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford or Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer. Voted #1 8 years in a row.
We're one big family, two great stores, ready to save you more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
Thunderstorm chances increasing today. It's a marginal risk, which is on the lower end of severe weather, but still got to make that mention of shower storms here as we head on through this morning that could potentially be severe. They'll be isolated, though, so I'm not really all that excited about severe weather chances. By late morning, we may be done. Cloudy, and then clouds this afternoon near 85. Tonight, cloudy, 65. Wednesday, clouds give way to sunshine. Beautiful day, 80. I'm meteorologist Ray Stejek at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
We have mostly cloudy skies right now, 73 at WIBX.
Which room is next for you? The bedroom? Your kitchen? The living room? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. What's holding back that next home project? Is it budget? We have flooring choices for any budget and financing options available. Maybe it's inspiration. If so, come and talk to our experienced design team. We're here to help you get unstuck. Maybe you're putting off redoing a room because you're worried about spills and accidents. Whether it's a pet in training or a growing family, we have flooring solutions that can withstand anything life has to throw at it. We have incredibly durable tile options and 100% water-resistant carpeting that's both beautiful and practical. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I went in for a regular prostate screening, and my lab results showed my PSA level were elevated.
We repeated the lab test, and the second test came back elevated too. We did a biopsy, and the biopsy showed cancer in certain areas of Philip's prostate.
Dr. Ba performed a prostatectomy at Wayne Hospital using robotic surgery to remove the cancer.
We were able to cure him with smaller incisions, and he had a quick recovery.
Since the surgery, all my PSA level has been normal. I am proof that early detection can prevent something far worse.
I had been lifting something heavy, felt a tinge in my back. I also had some shortness of breath, but thought it was due to what I figured was some kind of muscle pull. I was wrong.
The episodes of pain that Ray was experiencing were actually small heart attacks. The Wynn Emergency Department was able to provide immediate life-saving care to Ray's heart.
If it wasn't for the amazing team at Wynn, I might not be here at all. I feel indebted to everyone who helped make Wynn Hospital a reality so I can get the immediate care I needed right when I needed it.
Thank you for giving my daddy back home.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
You must remember this song back in your days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then along came Butler.
Yeah.
When you were at school and college.
Yes.
Where Potsdam, right?
Yes.
You every morning would wake up the crowd to this song by
Focus.
Right? Focus.
Yes.
You every morning would wake up the crowd to this song. I don't mean to be doing this, but I am. I apologize. You every morning would wake up the crowd to... Sorry, that wasn't supposed to be happening. Nonetheless, that Hocus Pocus Focus song was your big song. And you'd play it
out into the quad.
And everybody would wake up.
It was like reveille.
Yes. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
We earlier played a song that was written by an AI group. As a matter of fact, earlier played the why this is happening to me here. Because it's not going to allow me to play anything until I get rid of something. So let's see if this helps. Nope, it's not. Maybe this will help. Bear with me because I'm clearly struggling. I think I've got it fixed, however, where that's not playing. Okay, here we go. This is the song that has 500,000 people following on Spotify. Spotify, Mark, is a service that they play music over the internet, and people are able to listen to their songs. Sorry.
What? I don't have trouble hearing.
This song, I'm kidding. This song is by the Velvet Sundown. Listen to this. You didn't hear this earlier. Tell me if you like this song, and then I'll tell you the back story.
Lights on silver sand, marching ghosts with no command.
Not bad.
Velvet boots on mirrored ground, drums of thunder, distant sound. Promises in static blue echo loud in silent rooms.
I find this song to be unbelievably spectacular.
It's a nice song.
But unbelievably scary at the same time, because it makes you really wonder. I'm about to tell you, if you didn't hear us talk about it earlier, that is the group called the Velvet Sundown. They have 500,000 followers on Spotify. It is a song called Let It Burn, and it is a 4-male member band that has no humans. It is absolutely 100% AI. And they put out an album 15 days later. They put out their second album.
Marching Ghosts with no command. It reminds me of New York City.
It kind of does. Yeah, you may be right. And I think this is more of a statement than anything else. They're trying to say, be careful, because you wouldn't know the difference. Will we need new artists, or will AI create new music for us to listen to? It makes you kind of wonder, right?
But we'll always need radio announcers. Bill.
Well, maybe we won't, right? I mean, if they can do that, imagine what they could do. And in fact, there are a few radio stations right now around the country, just a few, that are that have AI DJs, and the radio station is just paying for the software, and you would not be able to. You wouldn't know, and they learn more and more as time goes on. So a little on the scary side, I would say.
I would say.
Speaking of scary, the Assembly in New York State, the Senate and Assembly finished their budget process. The session just wrapped up. With us right now is Assemblyman Robert Smullen. Good morning, Assemblyman. Thanks so much for coming on.
Good morning, Bill. Great to be on Keeler in the morning, and to hear my good friend Mark Butler on the air. What a treat.
Well, Bob, it's a pleasure for me too. You have my sympathies. That must have been a real marathon.
Oh, and it was, right? Yeah,
it was, yeah, for sure. You know, the budget season was the longest one. It was late by over 6 weeks, $254 billion. But there was actually a good surprise for business owners at the end. New York paid off the amount of money that they'd loaned from the feds for the unemployment insurance, about $7 billion, that now won't be charged to our businesses. So that was actually a good thing for the people out there that run small businesses.
Yeah.
Tell me, and this is going to be a really difficult question, I believe. What came out of this that you're good with? Is there anything that you were like, boy, I'm glad that, and this, of course, not, we'll talk more about your personal legislation, but beyond that, was there anything that you can look at and say, you know, we did accomplish, at least we accomplished this?
Well, there's always good things in the budget, funding for our schools, funding for our transportation networks, funding for the services that New Yorkers really need. The problem is that with the progressives in New York City, they just want more. So you go with what should be, say, when I first got to the Assembly, $170 billion budget. We're already up to $254 billion. That's like World War II levels of spending. And guess what? You know, it's just going to, you know, it's money that we don't have going to programs that we don't need that has to fall back on the taxpayers. That's what I object to in these budget negotiations.
If we could, you have some personal legislation that was probably the easiest legislation passed all year long during this session.
It was, Bill. Thanks for mentioning it. My wife and I, we lost our son last year. He was hit on a highway and tragically passed away after a long time in the pediatric ICU. And what we did was we developed a road sign memorial program, the Alexander John Smullen Traffic Memorial Safety Program. And what it's designed to do is to allow people to put up signs where they lose their loved ones on the highways. Don't drink and drive, don't speed, you know, don't text and drive. And it passed unanimously in the House and in the Senate. And I'm very grateful to my colleagues there. Now we want the governor to sign it so families can then memorialize their loved ones who are lost on our highways.
It might be one of the only things that Democrats and Republicans were able to work together on this year.
A totally nonpartisan bill in every sense of the word. And I'm grateful to my colleagues for passing it.
Yeah. I was at the funeral, and there were many influential Democrats from Albany that came to his son's funeral, and I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah, terrible, just terrible, and we feel for your family. I also wanted to let's before I get into, I always go down the world affairs road with you because of your military intelligence experience. But before we go there, I do want to ask you about some of the things that you're just that passed that you just couldn't stop, and it's going to hurt us. And it's going to continue to hurt us. And we've seen it with bail reform and so many of these other issues. What can we worry about for coming out of this session?
Well, one of them was right at the very end. It came out as a surprise with some adjustments to our prison system and what happens inside the prisons with corrections officers. And I fully stand behind our corrections officers. And I understand that all those that are incarcerated, you know, they need to be safe and secure. But the so-called reforms, you know, go right along with what these criminal justice reforms have been since I've been in the Assembly. Bail reform, raise the age, you know, all these things. They're making people less safe. And I think it's really unfair that the voices of our corrections officers were not heard in these bills that were passed about how our prisons are run, because they obviously went on strike. You know, a couple thousand of them were actually fired by the governor. And we still have National Guard people supporting the operations of our prisons. We need to really pay a great deal of focus and attention on that in the coming year to get it so our prison system is safe for not only those who are imprisoned, but those who are actually watching over them in our prisons.
Yeah, obviously there's no excuse for the two deaths that have been high profile.
None whatsoever, Bill. Absolutely none whatsoever.
And those people are being prosecuted and going through the system. But I fear that a lot of this has been precipitated by these lax laws that have been passed over the years in Albany. It's created a situation where there's so much where really I feel like, from what I've been told from corrections officers, is they feel entitled. A lot of the inmates feel that there's nothing that can be done if they do something wrong, and it's creating an unsafe environment.
That's the HALT Act. You know, it's supposed to be able to help the prisons and help the prisoners in there. It's taken all the control away from the corrections officers and from the system, along with other regulations. There needs to be widespread reform in our prison system. And unfortunately, at the end of this legislation session, we went the wrong way. We need to really concentrate on that in the next year.
And then I want to ask you about your experience in the military, and just as you look at where we are in the world right now with everything that's happening, your thoughts and kind of a broad assessment of what's going on.
Well, America needs to keep a very strong national defense. You can see out there that the world is still a very dangerous place. These strikes in Iran, that's going to prevent them from getting a nuclear capability where they could destroy Israel with a nuclear-tipped ballistic missile, absolutely the right thing to do. But when you look at the war in Ukraine, you look at what's happening in North Korea, you've got to realize that America and its allies, particularly in NATO, they really need to continue to invest in their defense capabilities. And if they don't, then the world will come up and bite them. And that's exactly what had happened, and what's absolutely not happening in this administration. I'm very pleased to see how things are going there.
Your thoughts on there has been a dispute over how much damage was actually caused to the Iranian nuclear program, and now we have some evidence of a phone call claiming that it wasn't as bad as Iran thought it was going to be. What do we know, or are we still kind of just in a learning situation where we're trying to figure out, and it's going to take some time?
Yeah, we're still in an assessment phase. It takes three things to make a country nuclear capable. One is the material, the uranium, right, to be able to make the bomb. The second thing is the delivery means, in this case, ballistic missiles that the Iranians have. And then the third thing is the capability at the governmental level to put it all together and control it. And it was very clear that the Iranians were getting very close. We'll see how far they've been set back and what needs to be done in the future. People have to remember, Iran has been at war with the United States for 45 years, since the Iranian Revolution in 1979. And we need to recognize and realize that Iran needs to be treated as an enemy. They're a state sponsor of terrorism. They sponsor Hamas, Hezbollah. They're the ones that are sponsoring the Houthis that are making international commerce unsafe. So, they're a bad actor in the world, and they need to be treated like that by the United States and all of our allies.
And then we have Russia and Ukraine, and there has been some wavering by the president in terms of support. And I think a lot of people feel like, listen, this is not our war. We've spent enough. But talk about the importance of this war and what it could mean for that part of the region and for many of our allies.
Well, what it's really meant in Ukraine is we've stopped the Russians there. We, the United States and the NATO allies, including expanding NATO to Finland and Sweden, it's made it very difficult in Europe. And that's why the Europeans are actually increasing their defense spending, because they see a real threat from Russia. But what we're faced with now is how to bring this war to an end, and what the settlement is going to be between the Ukrainians and the Russians. It's quite clear that Ukraine is not going to buy, or is not going to belong to NATO, but we may have some sort of strategic agreement with them for minerals that gives them some assurance about what their security situation can be going forward. So every war has an end, and for the war between Russia and Ukraine, where Russia was the aggressor, it's going to come to an end, over the coming months, I believe.
But it does seem that Putin wants territory. He's not going to walk away from this.
He wants more, of course.
Yeah. All right. Very interesting. Always interesting to speak with you. You have a question?
Yeah. All of that stuff aside, listen, I got a ticket on the thruway from one of those camera ticket things. Anything you can do for me there, Bob?
Well, if you call my office, maybe I can get somebody to help you. How about that?
That sounds good.
If I'm correct, they don't, on those, it was a construction ticket?
It was a work zone, but nobody was working.
I can't help you there. You got to slow down.
Well, I thought I did.
Yeah, not enough, apparently.
Not enough.
Assemblyman Robert Smullen, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill. Great to be on the show and connect with your listeners. Thank you.
Take care, Bob. Great 4th. Thank you so much.
Bye, Mark.
Bye.
Of course, Robert Smullen is the assemblyman for all of Herkimer County, and then parts
Fulton,
to the
Hamilton.
east. You know his district
all
quite
are
well.
parts of 5 counties.
Yes, it's a big district.
It is. It's the biggest, largest in the state.
Quick break, and we'll wrap it up here with Mr. Mayor Mark Butler coming up at WIBX.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
I'm Dr. Andrew Rosansky. When I joined Dr. Schulman 11 years ago, I joined the team and added my name to the business, and I have kept the tradition of the best family dentistry. Today, I am continuing the quality service people have come to expect with a name change, Rosansky Family Dentistry. We are accepting new patients. I'm looking forward to seeing you and your family.
Rosansky Family Dentistry, the same quality service with a new name. 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
Which room is next for you? The bedroom? Your kitchen? The living room? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. What's holding back that next home project? Is it budget? We have flooring choices for any budget and financing options available. Maybe it's inspiration. If so, come and talk to our experienced design team. We're here to help you get unstuck. Maybe you're putting off redoing a room because you're worried about spills and accidents. Whether it's a pet in training or a growing family, we have flooring solutions that can withstand anything life has to throw at it. We have incredibly durable tile options and 100% water-resistant carpeting that's both beautiful and practical. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey everybody in upstate New York. I don't know where in upstate New York, but thanks for listening to the Keeler Show. Never met this man. Don't know why I'm telling everybody to listen, but thank you very much. By the way, this is Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I have nothing else really to say to you, but I thank you for listening to me, tell you to listen to this man, Bill Keeler, on WIBX.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, I'm available.
Huh?
I'm available.
You are. I know you are. And I appreciate it. In studio is the mayor of Newport, New York, Mark Butler. And Newport is the home of the Yale So Yale was from Newport.
He had a little workshop. Actually, the home he lived in is very interesting architecturally. It's an octagon house.
That's the octagon house.
That's the octagon. He did this in a workshop out behind
that. That's where he lived. Amazing. I got to look into that.
Yeah.
So if you've driven along through Newport on Route 28, maybe you're coming from Herkimer or coming from Poland, going towards Herkimer, however you're doing it. There's always, as a kid, we would drive over there all the time. We were from the valley. But that octagon house was always something that was kind of cool, and it was very unique.
Yes.
And stone, by the way.
We have some limestone quarries in the vicinity, and we have a number of very beautiful stone. The St. John's Catholic Church is just a masterpiece of architecture.
So Yale, and then this went on to become must be a very reliable lock.
Yes.
And became such a large company. I don't even know where they are today.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted our motto, Newport's motto, to be Newport, the village on the place to somewhere else, on the way to somewhere else.
On the way to somewhere else. You have a great golf club.
Yeah.
The country
golf
club
course is beautiful. It's been totally revamped over the past couple of years. It's gorgeous.
What do you want to add, Davey?
Don't they have a place up there called the Newport Mercantile? Like an antique place where you can buy stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
It's right on the main drag, right?
Right. They have some very interesting things in there. Yes, no doubt about it.
Here is Joe. Hello, Joe. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Now that you're talking about Newport, don't forget that wonderful little shop, the Newport Marketplace.
Do you still have a place? Is that the Mercantile? Is
yeah,
that what it's called?
I think that's what we were just discussing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a booth there anymore, but it's a great little place. Mark and Gordon do such a nice job. They have all your garden supplies, the plants, and then the antiques assorted throughout. It's a really nice, cool place.
Yeah.
So the antiques are like different vendors, like yourself.
Different vendors.
You have it gives you a really cool variety.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got their own taste. So different vendors, different tastes.
Based on some of the booths I've seen, some people don't have any taste.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
That's not true. Mark.
Well, Mark and Gordon lived in one of these stone houses across the dell from there, and somebody dropped off a mannequin. And they said, what are we going to do with this? So they put it out in their yard. They would dress it for every holiday, and it came to be kind of a attraction for the village of Newport. And now the house has changed.
It's not a full mannequin. It's just from the waist down.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, I think somebody stole the top. That's
Well, anyway, the new owners didn't think that was appropriate.
I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure, Davey.
You going to be spinning anywhere this weekend, Joe?
Are you asking him to plug? Oh, my Lord.
As a matter of fact, Davey, since it's the first day of July and summer here in central New York, I'll be at the White Lake Inn tonight. We're having cans and clams. It's every Tuesday, and it's always sunny at the White Lake Inn. So stop on up and see me tonight.
All right. It's amazing how these plugs just roll right off your tongue.
Yeah, he snuck there right in there, didn't he? Good commercial.
If you're looking for something to do this weekend in Lyons Falls, they're having a car show on Saturday. It's a huge event. Last year it was like 200 cars.
Doesn't Showtime play the band Showtime? I was going to give them a little plug. Don't they do like Old Forge every year around 4th of July?
Yeah, they're up there all weekend long.
Yeah. Where are they, by the way, Davey? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I saw on their Facebook they're on there. They're there Thursday night. I believe Friday night, Saturday night, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah,
I think they play Don't they play at Dakers?
Dakers. I think they've been there for years. Yeah. Okay, good stuff, Joe. Thank you, man.
Thank you. You guys have a great 4th of July, and watch out for those firecrackers.
Okay. Beware. Are you getting in? Do you get much of that in Newport, or are you guys tough on, the fireworks? Because they've been going off through the whole month of June.
Yeah, it's always an issue, but I think we've got it under
You're
control.
okay in Newport. That's right. Guy in Virginia. I'm going to leave you with a couple of quick stories before we get out of here. Guy in Virginia got his wedding band back 15 years after losing it We got kind of a bit of a Christmas in July theme today.
Yeah.
With Steve Nuno, and after losing it at a Christmas tree farm 15 years ago, he got a tree in 2010 and did not realize that the ring had fallen off his finger. The owners of the farm came across it last month based on notes they jotted down, gave him a call. Here's the owner of the ring and the owner of the farm talking about what wonderful deed went down there at this Virginia Christmas tree farm.
I couldn't believe it. When I saw Joe's trees come up, of course, I had no idea. And then Darren said, asked me if I described the ring to him. He said, yep, we found it. It was amazing.
She kept notes of anything that was lost, and we always put them on the bulletin board for a couple of years, and as the years went on, we'd gather them and put them in a stack, and just hoping that one day we'd find a needle in a haystack. This is a great bunch of people up here. I mean, we love coming up here, getting a tree, and I'm just thankful for them that they, kept that note for 15 years.
15 years.
Jeez, that's great.
They were able to keep it. And then one more, TikTok. No, this is a co-owner of a New Jersey restaurant. Taylor Sam is getting heat for telling customers to F off in a viral TikTok video. Here is the video that got Dawn Spivak in a bit of trouble.
21 complained and said that our prices are way too expensive.
Did you ask them where they're standing?
Where they're standing?
This is Bayhead, baby. Location, location, location.
This is how she said it. We're local, and unfortunately, we're not going to be coming back because your prices are way too expensive. You're literally double than the last place that was here.
Yeah, well, our food is double the quality and double the flavor. So you can double go and off.
Okay. So, I do appreciate the honesty.
Yes.
To be honest.
Yes.
Listen, you're looking for coffee. The best coffee is the official coffee of this radio program. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Try their pistachio lattes and muffins, iced coffee, pistachio, and then the 32-ounce Double X iced coffee for when it's really, really hot. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And River Hills Properties continues to be the fastest-growing real estate company in central New York, but it's all about the service. The service that they provide, full service from the very beginning till the very end of the sale. And they never use the lockbox. Your listing agent will always be there really assisting you and making sure the process goes smoothly every step of the way. Offices in Barneveld, Little Falls, in Utica, Copenhagen, in Newport. And now the Gulf Coast of Florida as well. It's Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
24 hours and counting. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The Senate has been debating and voting since yesterday morning on dozens of amendments to the Republicans' tax and spending bill.
I think we're doing well. We're going to have to see. It's very complicated stuff.
President Trump says he thinks it'll pass in the end by or somewhere around their Friday, July 4th deadline. But Republicans right now do not have the votes, apparently, to get it through the Senate. They need 50. An amendment to the Senate version, though, has passed 99-1.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act will no longer prevent individual states from regulating AI for 10 years. House members like Marjorie Taylor Greene had threatened to vote no on the bill if the Senate kept the moratorium in the bill. Supporters had argued because AI technology is rapidly evolving, having states hyper-regulate it could have national security implications.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. President Trump is on his way to Florida to see a new immigration detention facility nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the detention facility is surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain.
This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history.
Protesters have lined the highway leading to the site, and environmental groups are suing the Department of Homeland Security, arguing the detention facility would disrupt the Everglades ecosystem. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Quadruple murder suspect Brian Koberger is expected to plead guilty in Idaho.
He is now reportedly scheduled to appear in court tomorrow, where he's expected to plead guilty to the heinous cold-blooded murders of 4 University of Idaho students. The guilty plea will allow Koberger to avoid the death sentence and accept life in prison.
Fox's Matt Finn. The deal is opposed by the family of at least 2 of the students stabbed to death in 2022. Former House Democrat and pro football player Colin Allred says he'll run for Senate in Texas again next year. He lost to incumbent Republican Ted Cruz last year. America's listening to Fox News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Dozens of Palestinians are killed in Israeli airstrikes in Gaza, one hitting a cafe, and in shootings at aid sites. The group of charities is asking for the new U.S. Israel-backed aid distribution center to be shut down.
The letter has over 130 non-governmental organizations behind it. They say more than 500 Palestinians have died seeking aid since the U.S. and Israel-endorsed GHF took over the operation. Oxfam, Save the Children and Amnesty are among signees who claim Israeli forces and armed groups routinely open fire on Palestinians. Israel denies its soldiers deliberately shoot at recipients. It insists the GHF provides help to people who need it, preventing Hamas from intercepting the aid.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Some beaches are closed in at least 6 states because of high bacteria levels heading into the July 4th holiday weekend.
Number of beaches on New York's Long Island, coastal Massachusetts, Seattle's Lake Washington, and Green Lake beaches are closed. Lake Michigan beaches in both the northern Chicago suburbs and up at Sunset Park in Michigan State's Emmett County are also shut down. San Diego has a number of beaches under contamination advisories, though none are closed.
Fox's Eben Brown. A former aide to New York Governor Kathy Hochul is facing a new pandemic fraud charge.
41-year-old Linda's son was an aide to Hochul and former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is running for mayor of New York. Her 40-year-old husband, Chris Hu, is also charged. Both have entered not guilty pleas. Son, who was previously charged with acting as an agent of China, is now also charged with improperly profiting from the state's purchase of pandemic supplies. No comment from her lawyer. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Stock futures are down a bit ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street on this first day of the second half of the year. I'm Chris Foster. This is Fox News.
Rachel grew up in a family where alcohol was present most of the time.
We had fighting and abuse, yet to the outside world it appeared that we were normal.
Rachel used alcohol to give her confidence and something more.
It gave me a sense of belonging because I didn't have friends. Just made me numb.
Is someone you love using alcohol to fill a void? For a free booklet dealing with alcoholism, call 800-245-7894.
Going to leave the threat for a couple of showers, thunderstorms in this afternoon. I think the better chance further southeast, but still could be some stronger, maybe severe storms. I don't think widespread. Still humid, clouds and some sunshine, 85. Otherwise, tonight cloudy, 65. But the front's through, clouds get away to sunshine. A beautiful day tomorrow. Low 80s, jumping ahead to the 4th. Very pleasant day, sunshine at a high near 80. Could be in the 50s in the morning. I'm Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
From the Fox News radio studios in Midtown Manhattan, it's the fastest growing radio talk show. Brian Kilmeade.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Brian Kilme Show. So glad you're here. Bottom of the hour, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. You know, earlier, about an hour ago, I had a chance to talk to one of the most important people in America, the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. I'll bring you back to that interview. As you know, the big, beautiful bill is being worked on as we speak. The Votorama has not stopped. So let's get to the big three.
Number 3.
I'm outraged that we have a candidate for mayor of New York, Mr. Mandani, that cannot walk back or cannot condemn the words globalize the Intifada. Let me tell you what it means to a Jew. It means violence. It means October 7th. It means firebombing people in Colorado. So that's the connotation. That's the essence of it. And that's what it means to Jewish people.
He's 100% right, and to the American people. Fallout continues among Dems as Zohran Mamdani locks in his Democratic primary win. But leadership is not on board as his socialist beliefs and radical anti-Semitic views are reconfirmed.
Number 2.
I think it's close. I just spoke with some of the people involved. It's a terrible situation that's going Gaza he's asking about. And we think within the next week we're going to get a ceasefire.
I hope so. Chance for peace, Bibi coming stateside. Gaza operation comes to a close, perhaps, as all Hamas leadership has been killed. The next move, release all the hostages.
Number 1.
And these are reforms, Mr. President, are going to make this program stronger, more effective, more efficient, improve it in a way that it gets the assistance to the people for whom it was intended and not to people who are gaming the system.
Senator John Thune, Capitol Hill, talking about what's happening with the big, beautiful bill. Make or break time for the president's economic 4-year foundational agenda. The market is soaring, but Elon Musk makes it harder to pass. I'll explain. But first, here's my interview with Scott Bessent. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, thanks so much for joining us.
Brian, good to be with you.
A lot of tension on Capitol Hill right now in the vote-a-rama. We're in 20-plus hours. Does this worry you? Because we hear you're 4 votes away from Republicans having enough to pass.
Well, it would just be one. So that would be their 4 no votes. So we just need one more vote to get to 50. Vice President Vance is up on the Hill talking to his former colleagues in the Senate and is there to cast the tiebreaker if necessary. I'm not sure it will be.
Lisa Murkowski says, I need a special carve-out because Alaska is unique for Medicaid to be able to get the additional funds. The parliamentarian says, no, you can't do that. Evidently, she's been buttonholed and cornered by a few from Barrasso to Thune to Lindsey Graham, and they seem frustrated. What could you tell us about that, about Alaska?
Look, I've been in touch with the leadership, and everybody has special issues, and I think that we're all going to get the Senate is going to get behind this. The Democrats have been trying to block the Republican progress. That's why this has taken so long, and I am confident that we will get to yes this afternoon.
So it's all the 2017 tax cuts. They become permanent, and Wall Street seems to love that idea. But you're also adding to defense. You're adding to border security. No taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on car loans. So these are some of the changes that we're going to see. But yet America right now, for the most part, 38% approval rating on this bill. I know you don't do approval rating or do polls for a living, but why do you think the perception is so different than the way you feel about it?
Well, Brian, I think it's some misinformation in the media, the violence with which the Democrats have attacked this bill, and I think once the benefits start flowing through to the American people, that's why it's important to get it in the president's desk July 4th, and then in 90 or 120 days, the American people are going to start feeling this great economic stimulus. And I don't even want to talk about what happens if this doesn't pass.
Right, 67% tax increase across the board. And would you also say that Democrats had a chance for 4 years to change the tax rates? And they could have done that. There was no attempt to do that. So they must have liked where the tax rates were.
Look, Brian, all they wanted to do was spend. They blew out the deficit. When I was up on the Hill recently for my hearings, I felt like I was being lectured to on fire prevention from a bunch of arsonists. Like, they increased the debt by trillions of dollars. They left us with a mess, and we are going to fix it.
So Politico had a story last week saying that the problems other countries are having with the American side, your side, is that they don't know who had the hammer. Was it you, Lutnick? Was it the Treasury Secretary? Was it the Commerce Secretary? Or was it the Trade Representative? Has there been a problem with getting one voice to speak for the country?
One voice speaks for the country, and it's President Trump. And he has the final say on all these deals. And I think that story in Politico was planted by some of our trading partners, trade delegations, because they aren't coming with fulsome enough offers. And if they can't get the deal across the line, they want to shoot the messenger. It's really the quality of the offers on their side. Everyone who's come with a good offer is going to get a deal.
So we saw what happened with Canada. They came out and said, we're going to start taxing your tech companies. The president said, good. Talks are off. They said, we are not going to do that. Talks are back on. There was some optimism a week ago about Canada. Can you tell us where the status of that trade deal is?
I think that President, Prime Minister Carney have agreed to try to get a trade deal done within 30 days. I thought it was unfortunate that the Canadians did a retroactive, Brian, digital service tax that yesterday, on Monday, our great tech companies were going to have to pay $2 billion in back taxes under a different administration, that under the Trudeau administration, for these digital service taxes, and those service taxes only fall on American companies. They're highly discriminatory.
Right. So that pushback was effective. I saw the German chancellor come out on Friday and said, enough of these trade talks. I want to deal within 3 days. We're from the EU with the U.S. Did that rattle anybody's cages? Did you see progress after the new chancellor made those statements?
Brian, one thing that's great to see is Germany reasserting its leadership. It's the largest economy in Europe. They had what I would call turtled for a while under their previous administration. Now they're coming out, they're meeting their NATO commitments. They are pushing the EU to try to get a trade deal done. So it is very nice to see Chancellor Merz asserting German leadership.
Did anything change since that statement?
I can tell you, things have changed in the past 2-3 weeks since the Merz administration's come in.
Are you against the letters that the president's going to send out if he doesn't have a deal by July 9th?
The president is very good at giving us maximum leverage, and I can tell you the idea that many countries reciprocal trade level or reciprocal tariff levels will revert to the April 2nd level is giving the trade team a lot of leverage and bringing people to the table with their best and final offers.
Do you, I hear Japan, where the rubber hits the road, is cars. And also, President mentioned rice. It's like, you guys need rice, we got rice, you don't want to buy our rice. They don't want to sell American cars. And there seems to be, even though we're tight allies, it seems to be at a breaking point. President says talks are off. I'm not optimistic. Is Scott Bessent optimistic?
Brian, we're at an interesting point with Japan. As you said, they're great allies, especially in defense in the Pacific. We're aligned with values. But they also have an election on July 20th that they're having to play to. So perhaps going into the election, they are not able to come with the trade deals that we would expect. So maybe after the election.
When you look at the economy, people are all caught up in this bill. But you have another chance at reconciliation afterwards. And I'm wondering if that could be a promise to help some senators that are worried about this bill. Hey, we can go back again and offer some others in terms of cuts or changes.
Brian, I think that especially in cost cutting, no one thinks that this is the final bill. As I've said many times, you and I have been talking about it for over a year. I'm a deficit hawk, and I think this is a down payment on right-sizing the bloated government, and we'll start here. But the important thing, get the bill on the president's desk, and then we can talk about further spending controls from there.
So the deficit, the CBO says it's going to add $3 to $5 trillion to the deficit. What do they seem to have wrong with most Republican administrations, especially this one, that has many, like you, exasperated by some of their conclusions? Like, in layman's terms, why do they see it different than you see it?
I'm looking at history. So they were $700 billion off, excluding inflation, for President Trump's first tax bill. And what they don't do is they do what's called static scoring. So no matter what, the economy grows at 1.8%. Most of the people who work at the CBO are Democrats. So maybe a Democratic economy can't grow more than 1.8%. But that 1.8% does not move up or down whether this bill lapses and we have the largest tax increase in history, which would be a disaster. I think we get something between -4% and -7% growth, or whether we pass this bill, growth accelerates, and we get something closer to 3% over a sustained period, because growth changes the debt trajectory dramatically.
At the end of the day on a Friday, when it's you and you're shutting the lights off, and the big, beautiful bill has a verdict, and let's say it passes, what worries you the most, that you find yourself thinking about the most, that you think you can affect the most over the next 3.5 years?
We have the big agenda from here. Obviously, peace deals, trade deals, tax deals have been the focus the past 100 days, but we've got a lot more. We've got a lot more to go, Brian. As you and I have talked about in the past, we want to make sure that Main Street starts doing well, Wall Street's done great, and my goal, if I walk out the door in January 2029, is that the rewards for the economy were evenly distributed. President Trump is committed to that. I was with him at the U.S. Steel plant in Pittsburgh 3 weeks ago, and I have to tell you, the steel workers are behind President Trump, because he knows that they will do well under him, unlike the previous administrations. We're going to keep inflation low.
Right.
We're going to make sure there are opportunities for everybody. We're going to bring back manufacturing, and we're going to bring this deficit down.
The inflation stopped, but it was high when you took over. How do you get the prices to come down?
Well, there are two ways, Brian. So we're bringing down energy cost. Deregulation is the hidden tax. So as we bring down deregulation, that will substantially decrease household costs. And then the third thing is what we are seeing is real wage growth for working families.
Already.
So biggest 5-month increase in history for the beginning of a president's term. And so we saw great wage growth for hourly workers, non-supervisory workers under President Trump's first term. I think we're going to see that again.
So lastly, in April, when they made this announcement, a lot of famous business people said, wow, this is crazy to have trade deals and basically try to cut trade deals with dozens of countries. And the market dropped like a rock. And now here we are 3-4 months later. You only have 2 deals, a framework and a UK deal done, but the market's hit an all-time high. And there's some speculation and people saying, maybe Trump was right and we were wrong. Why did the market come all the way back, but yet so few deals have been done? And where did the experts who you hang out with, I mean, the best of the best, where did they get it wrong?
Well, Brian, I think I was with you right after it was done, and I urge people to stay calm, that these are the maximum tariff levels, that countries can come negotiate them down, and there was just what I call tariff derangement syndrome. A huge number on the Democratic side, they became the Trump tariffs, so they were automatically hated. The business community hadn't seen this in years. And when you try something new and dramatic, people maybe get uncomfortable, but now we've seen that this is a great rebalancing for the American workers.
Scott Besson, thanks so much for your time. It's just one of many, I hope, dozens of interviews, and next time I'll come see you at your place. Is that all right?
We'd love to have you in the cash room at Treasury, Brian.
All right, and hopefully you have a big, beautiful bill to talk about soon.
I think on Friday.
Great.
And
Thank
we'll
you
see
so much, Scott.
Good.
It ends up right. Back in a moment.
It's Brian Kilme.
WIBX.
Here's a life-saving stat for you. Did you know that 80% of strokes are preventable? So how can you manage your heart health at home, on summer vacation, or between doctor's visits? Well, you can do so with the most advanced personal EKG on the market, KardioMobile 6L, the world's first FDA-cleared 6-lead personal EKG. It can detect up to 6 of the most common arrhythmias, including AFib, which is a leading cause of stroke. It gives you 6 times the data of any smartwatch, and it comes, of course, at a fraction of the cost of one. Now, you might think it would be hard to use or it's complicated. No, it's really simple. It records right to your phone anytime, anywhere. My dad has one. He uses it. It's easy. To make it even easier, right now, Cardia Mobile 6L is 10% off. Just go to Cardia.com, that's Kardia.com, or Amazon, and use the code 106L-BENSON. That's the number 106L-BENSON to get 10% off your Cardia Mobile 6L today. Sponsored by AliveCor.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm in Chapman.
That's 800-290-7100.
The 4th of July sale is on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 with the largest selection in central New York. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans. Hurry.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
This is Holly Robinson Pete for Eggland's Best. Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious, farm-fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties, classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
You're listening to The Brian Kilme Show, only on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Radio that makes you think. This is The Brian Kilme Show.
What are we talking about here? Well, why don't we take a look at the big, beautiful bill? I got five, not just four. 5 different polls across the screen for you. This is the net favorable rating. The highest rating comes from the Washington Post at -19 points. How about Pew, -20 points? How about Fox, -21? Quinnipiac, -26. And KFF takes the cake at minus 29 points. When you have a bill whose net favorable rating ranges from minus 19 points, which is already terrible, all the way to minus 29 points, the bottom line is the American people don't see this as a big, beautiful bill. They see it as a big, bad bill. They hate it, hate it, hate it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a sensationalistic pollster. That's why he got the job at CNN. And numbers are numbers. But I think a lot has to do with the marketing and the communication on it. And for the most part, people say, oh, it's going to add to the deficit. Listen to the CBO. I was just talking to Scott Bessent. You heard him. And I did an interview on TV and radio. I don't know. I forgot which one he mentioned it in. But when you look at the CBO, they said this is going to be the deficit, additions to the deficit, if the GDP grows at 1.8%. And he said, Scott told me, under no circumstances does he believe we're going to be at 1.8%. That is historically low. And it wouldn't be reflective of all the cut in red tape, the energy cost decrease, the amount of drilling, alternate energies, as well as the revenue, along with the trade deals. Now, keep in mind, too, we have bought in $162 billion worth of tariff revenue. That's not going anywhere. That's not even figured into the bill. So I do think you got to pass this thing. I do think that there's some like Green Deal stuff that's still in there. And if you really were going to be smart about it and fiscally responsible about it, and if you had a party that would work with you, you would know that Medicaid has to be fixed. So there are work requirements with Medicaid. A lot of people are going to go, screw it, I'm just going to get a job on my own. That's the hope, like with welfare. Number two, with Medicaid, they're going to be twice a year checking eligibility. If that's a problem, if eligibility is a problem that you want to preserve, you're worried about people ineligible on there being kicked off? Sorry. So the other thing is we got to add to defense. We got to add to the border. And if money can be saved in those areas, the border's already closed. We can't keep the military there forever. So that's going to be important. Tom Tillis, a Republican, also against a cut 7.
I'm telling the president that you have been misinformed. You supporting the Senate mark will hurt people who are eligible and qualified for Medicaid.
That remains to be seen. The Republicans tell a dramatically different story, and Senator Ted Budd, same state, has no problem signing on to this. Does he care less about North Carolinians than Tom Tillis, who's not going to be running for re-election? But you know who could be? Larry Trump could be running for that spot. A lot of moving parts. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West is next. When we talk about Texas, huge crackdown on TDA, major gang crackdown in Houston yesterday, the biggest one to date, the Venezuelan street gang. Nice.
WIBX.
Hi, this is Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. If you're interested in keeping up with events and news in the Mohawk Valley region, I have the show for you. It's called This Week in the Mohawk Valley, and it airs every Sunday on WIBX. Join us as we talk with area business leaders, elected officials, law enforcement, educators, and more. Don't miss This Week in the Mohawk Valley every Sunday at 9 a.m. on WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. All month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is celebrating America with their Made in America sale. Stop in today and explore their extensive inventory and their many new arrivals for every room in your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse style, and traditional. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or Gold Bond flippable mattresses. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally for free of charge, or you can pick it up yourself from the showroom. So stop in to Adirondack Home Furniture today and celebrate America with the Made in America sale going on now. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
I went in for a regular prostate screening and my lab results showed my PSA level were elevated.
We repeated the lab test and the second test came back elevated too.
We did a biopsy, and the biopsy showed cancer in certain areas of Philip's prostate.
Dr. Ba performed a prostatectomy at Wayne Hospital using robotic surgery to remove the cancer.
We were able to cure him with smaller incisions, and he had a quick recovery.
Since the surgery, all my PSA level has been normal. I am proof that early detection can prevent something far worse.
I had been lifting something heavy, felt a tinge in my back. I also had some shortness of breath, but thought it was due to what I figured was some kind of muscle pull. I was wrong.
The episodes of pain that Ray was experiencing were actually small heart attacks. The Wynn Emergency Department was able to provide immediate life-saving care to Ray's heart.
If it wasn't for the amazing team at Wynn, I might not be here at all. I feel indebted to everyone who helped make Wynn Hospital a reality so I can get the immediate care I needed right when I needed it.
Thank you for giving my daddy back home.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
I'm Therese Crowley. President Trump says, I think we'll get the bill passed. The Senate up all night and still going on the big, beautiful budget bill with 2 GOP no's, 2 on the fence when 3 no's kills the bill.
I don't want to go too crazy with cuts. I don't like cuts. There are certain things that have been cut, which is good. I think we're doing well. We're going to have to see. It's very complicated stuff.
The president says he'll be back early from Alligator Alcatraz, flying for the opening of the new Florida ICE detention center. Rep. Carlos Jimenez tells Fox.
It's not going to be inhumane. The people will be treated just fine. And again, it's not swampland. It's developed. It's high and dry. It is, though, surrounded by the Everglades.
And Trump jokes to reporters, if they escape, we'll teach them how to run from an alligator. Not in a straight line. Gave a wavy hand motion. America is listening to Fox News.
Going to leave the threat for a couple of showers, thunderstorms in this afternoon. I think the better chance further southeast, but still could be some stronger, maybe severe storms. I don't think widespread. Still humid, clouds and some sunshine, 85 otherwise. Tonight, cloudy, 65. But the front's through, clouds give way to sunshine. A beautiful day tomorrow. Low 80s, jumping ahead to the 4th. Very pleasant day, sunshine, and a high near 80. Could be in the 50s in the morning. I'm Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
This is WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Established, reputable.
News the Mohawk Valley can trust.
Unique opinions. Hear it all on the Brian Kilme Show.
Trump administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called ICE Block, and it's controversial to say the least.
He really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. Users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert.
Do you believe how stupid these people are? That's CNN for you. Do you know what they're talking about? How to avoid an ICE arrest. You know what ICE does? They pick up illegal immigrant criminals. And you know what they don't need? People to tip off those illegal immigrant criminals. But you know what CNN's doing? They are tipping them off and heralding this site and this app. So law-abiding citizens who have an illegal immigrant friend can say, hey, or worker or domestic help, hey, by the way, Get this app. Find out if ICE is coming to you. So now Tom Homan wants the Justice Department to sue CNN. Can you blame them? Can you blame him? Todd Lyons says this, as ICE acting director, says CNN's promotion of the ICE spotting app is reckless and irresponsible. My officers and agents are facing a 500% increase in assaults, and going on live television to announce an app lets everyone zero in on their locations is like inviting violence against them with the national megaphone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Dallas County Republican Chairman, American Constitutional Rights Union Executive Director, joins us now. Do you believe this? These anchors act like they're doing a public service.
Yeah, it's unconscionable. And when we're approaching our 249th Independence Day, these are people that are acting as, domestic enemies. These are people that are undermining the sovereignty of the United States of America. And let's just look at it this way. They're basically tipping off Trinidad. They're tipping off MS-13. They're tipping off the over, 1,200 special interest Iranian aliens that Joe Biden released into the country, of which we just had 2 picked up down in Houston, Texas. So they're really aiding and abetting terrorism, terrorist activities, criminal activities. And to me, that's breaking the law. That's being an accessory to a crime. That's aiding and abetting terrorist and criminal activities. So if anything, these people that are promoting this, they should be arrested. They should be charged.
Here's Tom Homan, cut 43.